I think we're live. We're going to be live any. See, I think we're live. Just never really know.
Do you have sound?
You know, eventually that you're live. Yeah, I do have sound. Thank you for asking.
Sometimes you gotta ask.
Sometimes I don't have sound. It's true. I've been without sound on occasion. Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
It's Sunday.
How's your Sunday?
Potato Potatoes here. We got Bobo. I'm sure others are joining us momentarily.
Sorry, let me navigate to this thing. I didn't mean to close it. It closed. It happened.
Do you know where you are?
Yes, I do.
Good. How you feeling?
I feel good.
You ready to? Are your eyes nice and fresh?
Yeah, fresh. Effervescent.
Effervescence.
Oh, okay, great. Cool. Right where we left off.
Yeah, wonderful.
So this is day 3 of attempting to read through the entirety of Justin Baldoni'S Deposition.
Yep.
And we are currently on page 118. It's going to be a long one. But we're digging up so much new information that we hadn't heard before.
No, we did 118 pages yesterday.
No, this is our third day.
It was our third day.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we do half a day because we did like an hour of
That's right.
bullshit. So, No Two Trolls has arrived. So 2.5 days. We did 118.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
This is where we left off. He is talking about why he left Jones Works. And he, so far, is saying that he didn't. That everything was great. That he was wonderful. I mean, that he thought that Stephanie Jones's work for him was wonderful. There was that whole thing about how she asked him to write a letter of recommendation, or no, it was like a good review or something.
She called him crying.
Yes, asking for him to write a good review for her,
right?
To print, to counterbalance this negative press that she'd suddenly been receiving.
Just in case we get some views tonight, I just want to say, just because maybe people will start at the beginning, I just want to just pop in right away that if you're hanging out with us, please like the live and please subscribe.
Yeah, great.
It just helps the channel grow. Okay, that's all I have to say about that. Thank you. Sorry to interrupt, but I was like, I always forget to do that, and then when I do that, we get a few more likes. So you got to do the work.
Only if you mean it. Only if you mean it.
Which?
The likes.
No. You don't have to mean it.
You don't have to mean it?
No, you can like it if you hate it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, don't dislike it.
That's not an option.
There's a dislike. Yeah, there is. There's a dislike. But
no, I mean, that's not an option for us.
Yeah, please don't dislike the live. Well, we know they will, though. Like, there are people who come and they just don't dislike the live because they dislike our opinion. What's weird about that is I bet you a lot of people, some of them at least, will show up and watch the whole show and do that, which doesn't make a lot of sense.
Okay, so this was kind of juicy where we cut off yesterday, and I'm just going to pick back up. Okay, here's the thing. So Justin, I'm just going to tell you the story, the narrative, and then we're going to pick up back with the deposition.
Set the stage.
Yeah. Okay. So Justin Baldoni got a call from Stephanie Jones saying, for some reason, somebody's attacking me in the press and saying that my clients hate me, but you are happy with my services, which he says that he was. And then she's like, so if you could leave me a good review, that would be great. So what he did was he drafted a good review for Stephanie Jones at Jones Works, and he sent it over to Jamie Heath and Jen Abel to see, like, hey, how does this sound? Should I edit it? Does it look good? And they're like, yeah, it's good. And so he sent it over. According to Justin Baldoni, that's the last he ever heard of it. He thought that his good review was being used by Stephanie Jones to promote her reputation as somebody who has clients that likes her. Okay.
And then Jen Abel.
But then Jen Abel and Jamie Heath together had his review removed. What did they say? How did they put it?
Retracted?
Yes, retracted. And according to Justin Baldoni, he said he was not aware of that. He says that he trusts Jamie Heath very often to make decisions without consulting him because he's busy with a lot of other stuff and he was really stressed.
We killed your firstborn.
That didn't happen.
That's fine. That's cool. Why? It was necessary. I believe and I trust you.
Yeah.
Do you want to see a nude video of my wife giving birth, by the way, just to celebrate?
Right, that's Jamie Heath. Hey, everybody. You guys want to see my naked wife giving birth, or maybe just after giving birth?
Yeah, we got some criticism about.
I know I don't know you guys.
we get some criticism about like making fun and shit, and it's like this is an entertainment show, and I'm a comedic based fellow. I am like my book is funny at times. I can be very serious, and I don't
No, what's
I
funny
don't
about
compromise on the themes, but you know.
It is a very serious situation. And what's funny about that one, making fun of Jamie Heath specifically, making fun of him making that choice,
Yeah.
is that everybody wants to twist it around on Blake Lively being the person who disrespected a woman's privacy.
Correct.
When it's Jamie Heath who's like, hey,
Exactly.
anybody want to see this private video of my wife?
Hey, listen, I'm going to spring this on you real quick. I'm not going to like ask your permission or anything because I just want you to see this because it's important to my ego. Watch this. It's my beautiful wife just giving birth here. Here we go. Ready? Oh, what?
Yeah.
He doesn't even do that, actually. He didn't even give her
No,
that. He was just
didn't.
like...
He just put his phone in her face, according to everybody's story. Okay, so are we set about where we are in this episode?
I'm ready to fucking go.
I know you are, baby. It's showtime.
It's showtime.
Okay, so here is lawyer. Her name is Miss Shaw. I would have to scroll back too far to see her first name.
It doesn't matter.
She is the representing Stephanie Jones and Jones Works. Okay,
Correct.
questioning Justin Baldoni. So picking up, I've come back to page 116 just to overlap a little. Okay.
Yeah, there's only one Miss Shaw who is interviewing Justin Baldoni in
Yeah.
this lifetime at this juncture.
Okay, I know. I'm just establishing things. Is that a problem?
You're very kind.
Okay, you're taking up more time than I even did.
I just had a sip of tea.
Okay. She says, you see here that Jen texts Jamie a Daily Mail article that says, at least in this version of the web link, it ends Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni feud, right? And Justin Baldoni says, that is what it says. Okay. Ms. Shaw continues. And this is right around the time the articles started appearing in the Daily Mail that were kind of first publicizing this alleged feud in traditional media, right? Baldoni says, I don't know, but I will take your word for it. I don't know if Daily Mail was the first or I remember there was a lot of things happening during that period. Question. And that was a big deal, right? When the press started picking up this alleged feud between you and Blake, he said, yeah.
He's such a coward. Like he had a voice. He has a voice. Mm-hmm. You know, he had a public, you know, he had a public interest, right? He was public interest at that point. And what did he do? It's like he curled up in a fetal position, you know? It's like he went and got all these people to defend him, he built this, this fortress of people who will take her down instead of just standing up and speaking, you know, and trying to mend and heal with his words, the way he tries to mend and heal with his his podcast and his TED Talks. Am I making sense?
Well, in Justin Baldoni's memoir, he speaks a lot in very vague terms, like this is just his general worldview, where he has to wear armor.
Yeah.
And he has to be,
exactly.
and he's under attack. So this is his version of wearing his, vague.
It's just such a shame, though. That's my point. Is like just as you start reading it, I immediately start seeing him strategically putting these people, these suits of armor in front of him, and they're all up to
and he hides behind it.
But they're not armor. They're they're beings with their own motives and their own their own agenda.
Yeah, right.
And so he puts them up in front of them, but he thinks they're his armor.
Yes.
He treats them like they're his armor. But what he doesn't do,
to help him.
But what he doesn't do, and we've talked about this on this live 100 times. What he doesn't do is he doesn't stand up and say, which he should have done in the very beginning of this. Hey, we've got a dispute that we're going to work out between us, but let's do this civilly. Let's do this civilly.
Well, he is doing it civilly after all, isn't he?
You know what I'm saying?
Civil litigation.
You know what I'm saying? Well, that wasn't by his doing, right? He was dragged into it.
That's true. Yeah, she's saying that. Okay. Should I continue?
Yeah.
Ms. Shaw says, and that was a big deal, right? When the press started picking up this alleged feud between you and Blake, he says, yeah. It was the reason you brought on a crisis communications. And Baldoni answers, because, can you ask that question again? And she says, because the press had started picking up and reporting on an alleged feud between you and Blake. Baldoni says, because press was talking about it, yeah, and it was becoming a public crisis. The attorney goes, okay. And then right after Jen sends Jamie that article, she says, in quotes, quoting Jen Abel, just thought about something. Should I try to get Justin's letter removed from Business Insider, which is where Stephanie Jones had published it? Do you see that? And Justin says, I do. The lawyer goes, okay. And then reading the next line, I would need to tell her on background that both Justin and Wayfarer have severed ties. Do you see that? And he says, I do. The attorney says, had Justin and Wayfair severed ties with Jones Works at this point? And Baldoni says, I have no idea. On August 9th, I don't know. Question. Do you have any idea why Jen Abel would be suggesting to Jamie that you leak on background that Justin and Wayfair had severed ties with Jones Works? Baldoni says, I remember Jamie sending a text message that he just told me about to Stephanie, basically saying, stop, don't make any phone calls. And that if she continued, that we would be leaving. But I don't remember the date of that. I don't remember where this is in that timeline. I would need to see. So I don't know if at this point he had already told her that we were leaving, or I just don't know. Question. Jen Abel still worked for Jones Works at this point, right? And he said, to my knowledge, yes. Was Jen Abel read in on the issue of Wayfair and you severing ties with Jones Works by this point? He's asking for a repeat of the question. Was Jen Abel read in on the issue of you and Wayfair potentially severing ties with Jones Works by this point? And he doesn't understand by read in. She's clarifying, was she aware of it? Baldoni says, was she aware of it? I wasn't privy to any of those conversations, so I don't know. Okay, Jen Abel goes on to say, and the attorney's reading a quote by Jen Abel, not sure if your lawyers would recommend not sure if your lawyers would recommend that, as she would need to print that, and not sure if that would cause any issues. Do you see that? He said, I do. Do you have any idea about what that's about? And Baldoni says, I shouldn't assume, but I imagine it's our lawyers at Wayfair Studios, our business affairs. But, and then she cuts him off. Why would it cause issues if a reporter were to print that Wayfair and you had severed ties with Jones Works at this point? He said, I can't speculate. Again, I'm not a part of any of this. Next question. You see, Jamie Heath writes, in quotes, Grammy Award winner, in quotes, and then writes, dummy. Do you see that? He says, yes. Is Jones Works a Grammy Award winning publicist? Baldoni says, I don't know. I didn't know publicists could win Grammys. And the lawyer goes, I didn't either, but I'm asking you. And Baldoni says, Jamie is a Grammy Award winner. So, and he always says dummy, like that's a joke. Like we call each other dummy. So I think maybe, I'm just guessing, he was quoting the way someone described him because he had won a Grammy at one point in a previous career. But I don't know.
That's so cute, isn't it?
I wasn't on this text chain.
Dummy.
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 I'm going to use that on you and see if it's cute.
Poke. Dummy.
I'm going to use that in an argument. You tell me whether you think it's cute.
Yeah, don't do it when it's all heated. You're supposed to do it when you're like, when you're just like hanging out. And
silly. Okay, next question. Did you know at the time that Jen Abel was speaking to Katie Warren, the reporter at Business Insider? And Baldoni says, until you said Katie Warren, I didn't even know who she was, so no. Question. Well, you sent your statement in support of Steph to Katie Warren, right? He said, yeah, but I didn't know her name. I didn't know what her name was. Okay. Did you have any knowledge around this time that Jen Abel was personally speaking to the reporters at Business Insider about the article that came out about Steph? He said, no. Okay. Did you have any knowledge at the time that Melissa Nathan was behind the article at Business Insider that came out about Steph? It's interesting that lawyer's calling her Steph, not Miss Jones. Isn't that strange? I've never seen that before. Seems strange.
Well, she's her attorney, right?
Yeah, I know, but like...
It's strange.
Nobody calls her Steph.
She calls her Steph. I call her Steph. I call her Steph.
You call her Steph.
Yeah, I call her Steph.
Did you have any knowledge at the time that Melissa Nathan was...
I told her new business should be called Steph Infection.
Nobody's going to hire that business, Dale.
You don't think so? You don't think that's
she's
genius?
going to take that advice.
Steph Infection.
No.
You don't think she's agency?
Nope. Not going to clamor for that business card. No, I don't think so.
Make these business card look like it has something?
It's like a little
like a rash.
You can't do this to me every day, bro. I got to read through this. Okay?
Steph Infection card.
Stop. Halt. Cease. Okay. This is a good question. Okay. Where the fuck was I? Did you have any knowledge around this time that Jen Abel was personally speaking to the reporters at Business Insider about the article that came out about Steph? He says no. Okay, did you have any knowledge at the time that Melissa Nathan was behind the article at Business Insider that came out about Steph? And Baldoni says, what do you mean behind?
And why are you calling her Steph?
The lawyer says, was a primary driving force behind getting it published and its negative slant. He says, no. Do you know that today? And Baldoni says, are you telling me that? She says, I'm asking you if you're aware of that. He says, no. Okay, have you ever heard that before? And this, of course, the lawyer objects, like, it's asked and answered. And he goes, that she wrote the article, and the lawyer clarifies that she planted the article. He says, no.
Wow, no objection there?
No objection there.
Wow.
That she planted the article.
Dude, I'd be up in that if I was not an attorney.
Right. He says, Baldoni says no. She continues, because she was angry at Steph. And Baldoni says, I'm sorry, Melissa was angry at Steph? And she says, correct. So Baldoni says, so she planted the article? And Ms. Shaw says, yes. Baldoni says, no, I didn't know Melissa at this time. Question. At the time you hired Melissa, did you have any inkling that she was behind the negative article in Business Insider about Steph? Baldoni said, I just learned about it from you, so no. Okay. Is that something you would have wanted to know before you hired her? And Baldoni says, hold on. Would I have wanted to know that the PR person that I was hiring to handle a crisis had evidently, according to you, not that I don't trust you, written an article about my, at the time, current PR person? I would, yeah. Yes.
Oh my God.
I know.
Well, see, listen, this is the part of what I wonder if he's ever going to come to the realization that he has sat back and lazily watched
Melissa Nathan has scammed
all
him
these
again and
people
again.
take advantage of a problem that was not as big. And this is the problem, this is what gets Baldoni fans all fucking their shit up in a knot, because they know, like everybody, including Blake Lively, that while problematic, and certainly more problematic when you consider that Justin Baldoni was supposed to become this face of feminism, or the de-escalation of toxic masculinity, or whatever you want to call it, that he was. I feel like that certainly adds some MSG to the situation for him. But ultimately, these offenses were relatively minor offenses, inconsiderate, harassing at times, perhaps, yes. But they weren't the kind of thing. They weren't litigious. Like, I don't think she would go to the CRD and get a right to sue. You know what I mean? Off of just that. The retaliation comes from this. It comes from the Hollywood Reporter article Melissa Nathan. So he finds out. I mean, we're gonna learn that as
everything that is coming, all the heat that is coming to his side, and all the defendants. He is being told by Melissa Nathan that is Leslie Sloan's doing, and Blake Lively's doing. So she is sowing all of this discord.
Correct.
She is creating a crisis for these people that doesn't exist.
Junkyard were here. He'd be telling you again and again.
So that she can get hired as a crisis manager and make a ton of money.
Racketeering.
It's
a racket.
Very, very plain. And now they're co-defendants, and I don't know how they're supposed to.
Well, I told you this, and I'm pretty sure this is how it goes, because this is how it went with me. I was a co-defendant with Artie Robb. I was a co-defendant with David Stutman. I was a co-defendant with, so Artie Robb, David Stutman, and Jerry Meadows was also.
Just to clarify, in the lawsuit, Stutman v. DiCaprio.
Yes. Where
Leonardo DiCaprio and Tobey Maguire were on one side getting sued by the producer David Stutman.
Correct.
Over the film Don's Plum.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then when after that lawsuit was filed, Leo filed a countersuit and named me.
Yeah.
And named Jerry Meadows.
Another producer.
In addition to Artie Robb.
The director.
So they pulled us into the lawsuit, obviously. So where was I going with that before?
I was talking about how now that Melissa Nathan and Justin Baldoni are both co-defendants.
Oh yeah,
but
so
clearly she's responsible for a lot of his misunderstanding.
Right. So I'm without an attorney, and I don't have any money for a change.
Right.
So I'm just I can't get an attorney. I don't have an attorney, and so they basically say, they being David Stutman's attorneys, who took the case on contingency. They say, well, we'll fold you in to our representation, but you have to sign this waiver, right? Which is a conflict waiver.
Basically saying you're not going to sue each other?
Yeah, so that that included if I learned something. Now listen to this, including if I learned something. Well, you know what I did learn? I learned while in Denmark that David Stutman entered into an agreement, at least according to a judge, but it wasn't. And, you can read about it in the book. But that he entered into an agreement with a Japanese distributor for Don's Plum.
Yeah, so he undermined you guys'
for $175,000. When we were in Denmark, we had a $2.2 million deal.
You can tell the whole story because we got to get past.
Let me finish. A $2.2 million deal on the table. It was a massive problem we could do nothing about because we had a conflict because we waived our conflicts with David Stutman.
So do you think that that's going to happen with this? Like if at the end of this, all these revelations that are stunning Baldoni in real time, like we're reading him be like, yeah, I mean, things would have been very fucking different if I had known that she was lying to me this whole time, right? Yeah. So are you saying that now his hands are tied and he?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that there's no way that Brian Friedman, and remember that it was Melissa Nathan that brought Brian Friedman into the fold.
That's true.
So now all these people get represented by Brian Friedman, and they're all dumb enough to do it, and I mean that. Yeah. Because there's no way that Brian Friedman is going to take that case and not have every single person sign off on a conflict waiver, and that conflict waiver is going to be, like, look, maybe it's challengeable. I don't even know, but it's gonna freeze everybody in their fucking spot. It did me. It did others.
Maybe it doesn't any longer after the lawsuit's over.
I don't believe that's true. I don't believe that.
Okay. We'll see.
So if they've done that, it's a master stroke, because then they've created the RICO event, right? And then they got co-defended and waived all conflicts, and now even as he finds this out, he can't do shit about it, probably.
Okay, so just to continue, I'm just going to back up a few lines, okay? At the time that you hired Melissa, did you have any inkling that she was behind the negative article in Business Insider about Steph? Baldoni says, I just learned this from you, so no. Okay, is that something you would have wanted to know before you hired her? And Baldoni says, hold on. Would I have wanted to know that the PR person that I was hiring to handle...
I think they're sitting there, too. I think they're sitting there while he's reading this, while he's saying this shit.
Melissa Nathan is there. I think Jennifer Abel is there. Okay, but listen. He goes, hold on. Which is, I want to see the video.
I want to see the video so bad.
Hold on. Would I have wanted to know that the PR person that I was hiring to handle a crisis had evidently, according to you, not that I don't trust you, written an article about my, at the time, current PR person? I would, yeah, yes. And she says, okay. And he says, sorry, that was a lot.
Oh, fucking hey, dude.
Question.
His shit just got blowed up.
I know that happens several times in this deposition.
Oh my God.
This is the first revelation.
This guy has been sitting on a fucking couch, feeling his way through life and not paying attention to his business.
Well, it just doesn't. Here's the thing, though. It's like he's so paranoid that he's getting attacked by all sides all the time. So he gets this crew to help him, and he's getting attacked by them, too.
Yes, because he's not. But my point is that he's not diligent in any of it.
It's not going to help his paranoia that people are out to get him. Because look, even his own people are. They're
lying to his face.
I know.
Traitor.
Poor guy. Okay. Next question. You listened in on part of Melissa Nathan's deposition, right? He said parts. Did you listen in on the part where she and I were discussing her participation in the Business Insider article against Steph? And he says, I believe I only listened in for the end of one of the days, and I don't believe it was with you. I don't, but to answer your question, no. His lawyer is offering, do you want to take a break? And he said, in a couple of minutes, we can.
So he is fucked up. This dude is steaming.
He's like, tell me everything.
This guy is...
okay.
I can't believe it. I mean, seriously, I hope they release the videos. If they release the videos, dude...
Okay, listen. He says,
I'm going to watch them. That's what.
Next question. We can go ahead. Let me just ask one last question or two last questions, and then we can go ahead and take a lunch break. He says, sure. You said you recalled a point in time when an issue arose about Stephanie Jones potentially contacting the Daily Mail in this early August time period, and that causing a big issue, right? He said, I remember that. I remember. Yes. Okay, up until that point in time, did you feel you still had a friendly relationship with Stephanie Jones? He says, friendly, yeah. Up until that point in time, did you have any reason to take any issue with anything that Stephanie Jones had done or was doing on your behalf? And he said, yeah, yes. Her question is what? Baldoni says, I remember feeling specifically as it related to the Business Insider article. The phone calls I had with her, I remember feeling like she wasn't personally my personal, not as an expert or anything like that. I just remember feeling personally like she seemed off and maybe wasn't of sound mind. The question is, what do you mean when you say wasn't of sound mind? And Baldoni says, I remember feeling that she was more worried about her own reputation than what I believe to be her work as a publicist in, I would say, taking care of ours.
I mean, it's kind of her job, bro. Reputation is her job.
No, but her own reputation.
So right. What? I mean, it's her job. It's her whole fucking, come on.
Question. Do you think there is something unsound of mind to be worried about your own reputation as a publicist more than your clients' reputations? And Baldoni says, no, it was more in the conversations I had with her. She felt different than previous conversations. Her speech at times was a bit erratic. She was like bouncing back and forth between things, it just felt like you were having these conversations with Stephanie Jones where you have to call in to question her mental state, that she was dealing with websites and social media handles under the captions of things like Stephanie Jones leaks and Stephanie Jones lies that were peddling a bunch
Such a weird way to put it, Stephanie Jones leaks.
Yeah.
There's just so many ways to take that.
Stephanie Jones lies that were peddling a bunch of defamatory, highly negative statements about her. I'm so sorry. Guys, I screwed up this reading. Can you just scratch everything? I just scrolled down because I'm reading these 4-page pages.
They're like in four blocks.
I forgot to go over. So I just scrolled straight down.
Oh, okay.
And so that was actually, I screwed up. So I read part of his answer and then part of her question.
Okay, yeah, I did get disconnected there.
Yeah, forgive me. That was
reconnect me. That's all.
My fault.
Just
okay,
reconnect.
so I'm going to go back. So,
Unacceptable. Unacceptable.
It's the only time I've done that so far. I'm going to do better. Okay. Forgive me. Okay, so the question is, do you think there is something unsound of mind to be worried about your own reputation as a publicist more than your clients' reputations? And he says, no, it was more in the conversation I had with her. She felt different than previous conversations. Her speech at times was a bit erratic. She was like bouncing back and forth between things, it just felt like any person, when you have a relationship with someone and they appear different than they had the last few years of knowing them, that's what made me not sure. And I just want to say it's really funny that I had that mistake right when he was saying she was a bit erratic. It was like bouncing back and forth between things, and I screwed it up.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's the answer. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And Miss Shaw continues. She goes, not sure if she was of sound mind. And Baldoni says, not sure if I felt, let me put it this way. At that point in time, I was grateful that she was not the lead to represent me personally. Question, who did you think was the lead to represent you personally? And Baldoni says, the person who had been for the last 4 years or so, or 3 years. Who was that? Jennifer Abel. Okay, do you think that in the time since these lawsuits...
Scandalous.
I know. Do you think at the time in the time since these lawsuits were filed against you that you had behaved to anyone differently than you did before? That you had behaved to anyone differently than you did before? He said yes. And so she says, do you think the stress of having this kind of public negative spotlight on you has caused that? And he said yes. Do you find it distressing to have negative public articles being written about you? He said, I do. Are you aware of any smear websites or social media accounts that were being published about Stephanie Jones in 2024? He said, no. You're not aware of that at all? He said, no. Okay, you are aware of very negative, and Baldoni cuts her off. Sorry, are you saying, was I aware or am I aware? And she clarifies, were you aware at the time? He said, no. I mean, I am aware that there was a website that's become a whole, and he said that's become a whole, I think, a part of this case, but I was not aware then.
God, his lawyer must just hate him.
I know.
Like, shut the fuck up.
They're yes or no questions.
These are the easiest words to understand in law, bro.
You say one word.
Like, shut the fuck up. That's the rule.
Okay, you weren't aware at the time that you were having these conversations with Stephanie Jones, where you have called into question her mental state, that she was dealing with websites and social media handles under the captions of things like Stephanie Jones leaks and Stephanie Jones lies that were peddling a bunch of defamatory, highly negative statements about her. And he said, I wasn't aware of any of that. Okay, you were aware of a Business Insider article that was being written about her that was highly negative, right? And he said, again, I don't know what was in it or if it was highly negative, but I know that it upset her a lot. Okay, as someone who now yourself has experienced very negative public media attention, can you understand how her experiencing very negative public unwarranted media attention might have been distressing to her at that time? He said, may I answer without a yes or no? And Ms. Shah says, you can answer in whatever way you think is best.
And we'd prefer you to just go on and on and on.
Yeah. So Baldoni says, if I had a relationship with my doctor who was going to perform a surgery on me for the last 5 years, and I went in to meet him before surgery, and he started acting strange, and then I found out that he was being attacked, and he had a lot of personal drama, maybe he was going through a divorce, I wouldn't want him to operate on me because I'm paying him for his services. So while I understand, especially the way you're phrasing it now, how emotionally disturbing it was for Stephanie, she was my publicist and I was paying her for her services. And for me, having been through what I've been through the last year, it's the reason why I wouldn't take on any jobs, because I wouldn't be of sound mind to do my job to the best of my ability while dealing with that stress. Ms. Shah asks, are you of sound mind to do your job to the best of your ability to this date? And he says, I don't think I understand your question. Ms. Shah says,
Really? That was not a tough question.
you said you wouldn't be of sound mind to do your job to the best of your ability in the circumstances of what you've been through. Do you understand that? He says, yes. We just need to define job, and then I can agree with you. Ms. Shah says, well, I'm just using your words. Baldoni says, yeah, so job. So what I was meaning by job is if I'm being paid for services. She says, okay, that's the reason that you haven't taken on any jobs since this lawsuit has been pending? And he says, no, there's not many jobs being offered to me at the moment. Ms. Shah says, do you feel you are of sound mind?
Well, whose fucking fault is that?
I know. She says, do you feel you are of sound mind? And Baldoni says, when? She says, now. Baldoni says, I don't believe I'm doing a job. I'm just telling the truth. So yes, I do. She says, did you ever express to Stephanie Jones at the time these sentiments that you're expressing to me now about her mental state or fitness to do her job for you as a publicist? Baldoni says, it was my feeling that would have been, in my opinion, unnecessary and would have caused her more pain. Ms. Shah says, is that a no? He said, that is a no. You didn't fire her at the time because of the sentiments that you're expressing to me now, is that right? He said, I didn't personally fire her, no. And Wayfair didn't fire her either as a result of the sentiments you're expressing to me now, is that right? Baldoni says, no, because Jennifer Abel was our main point of contact, my publicist. Ms. Shah says, okay, thank you. We can take a lunch now. Okay, so they're on lunch break.
Well, do you want to have lunch?
Yeah.
Can I get you some chicken?
Yeah, okay.
Some pheasant?
All right, they're back.
That was quick.
Time travel.
This is like a little milkshake or something.
All right, there came a time when you and Wayfair, it's Ms. Shah again, okay? There came a time when you and Wayfair brought on Melissa Nathan and her firm TAG to help you with crisis communications. Is that right? He said yes. How did you become to be how did you become to be introduced to Miss Melissa Nathan? He said, me personally. She says, she's clarifying yes.
As opposed to, that's weird.
Baldoni saying,
as opposed to, I guess, the company. I don't know.
he's asking, do you mean specifically or the sequence of events or... And Ms. Shah says, describe for me the sequence of events that led to you coming to the idea to hire Melissa Nathan and then ultimately hiring Melissa Nathan. Baldoni says, we decided to bring on someone for crisis PR, and Melissa Nathan was, I believe, one of the names that was presented.
Too bad for you,
I know,
bud.
oh my God.
That's just like your diamond asleep at the wheel, buddy. Complain to the gods, bro. You're not talking to them right. Like, well, either he's not listening to them or ain't talking to something. There's a miscommunication going on, and it's weird because they've been like feeding this guy like pure gold.
If you want to talk about fate, if you want to talk about superstition and fate, okay, my superstition is that Baldoni wanted to bury Blake Lively, and then the fates were like, okay, you want someone to be buried?
Oh, let's go about that business.
We will give you the best barrier of them all.
Yeah.
Everyone will be buried.
The world, ask and you shall receive.
Exactly. It was like the monkey's paw, you know? Where
it's true because he was at war. We saw those texts. He comes off, he comes off as such a victim. Yet it was him declaring war. It was him refusing to. And I don't care. Like it was just that it was also his advisors.
No, it's true. Like if you want to go to war, you will suffer some losses. You don't get to go to war and say that you're going to come out clean.
No.
That never happens for anybody.
No.
Okay. All right, I'm going to continue, okay?
Yeah. Please.
Describe for me the sequence of events that led to you coming to the idea to hire Melissa Nathan and then ultimately hiring Melissa Nathan. He said, we decided to bring on someone for Crisis PR, and Melissa Nathan was, I believe, one of the names that was presented. When in time did you decide to bring on Crisis PR? He said, I believe August of 2024. Do you recall that it was around or before July 25th of 2024 that you decided to bring on Crisis Communications? And he says, I don't. But this is true.
Yeah, we know
according
this.
to text messages.
Yes, we know this.
Ms. Shaw says, any reason to dispute that? And Baldoni says, if you have a document that might dispute it, I would be very open to seeing it. I just don't have the dates in my head.
So funny. I refuse to look at it.
Because he doesn't read anything. Because he's completely.
Well, just like saying that he's open to seeing evidence is hilarious.
Yeah.
Would you? Would that be okay?
This late in your lawsuit?
Yeah.
Now you want to look at evidence? Okay. Not before you file a lawsuit. Okay. Question. And what led you to the decision that you should or needed to bring on Crisis Communications at that point in time? Baldoni says that people were talking. Press was starting to ask questions, why I wasn't doing any marketing promotion of the film. By this point, I'd been told that I wasn't allowed to attend my own premiere, and I believe fans and press were starting to notice that I was absent, and at that point it became a public conversation, which I think to me and to us felt like a crisis.
Well, gee, maybe you should have fucking sat down and negotiated with the people with whom you have a problem and come to a solution that was amicable and smarter than your divisive way.
You know, it's interesting. He's like, fans and press were starting to notice that I was absent. Well, you know, when Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds sent over that draft letter, he could have just revised that to say exactly what he wanted to say and put it out in the press and fix it all then. What did you want?
By the way, a part of that, if you remember,
what did you want the fans and the press to know? You could have just used that opportunity then.
If you remember, a part of that letter said that they had always planned to do press separately. Mm-hmm. That's what it said in that letter.
Yeah, everybody would have been fine.
So one of the things,
everyone would have moved the fuck on
in a hurry, dude.
I know, dude.
In a hurry.
This wouldn't have been a story for more than a day.
No, and all he would have done is, and this is why they, in their letter, tried to entice it a little bit by giving him some of his own language, which was like, him like...
We're always improving himself.
Improving himself.
We're imperfect.
We're imperfect. We're a work in progress, I think, or whatever it was.
A work in progress.
Yeah.
That's right.
So, you know what I'm saying? There was the opportunity. It was on the table, and all these people, his fans, himself, obviously, Melissa Nathan and the rest, they all turned this into this fucking big threat, and it was an olive branch. It was like, here's how we can solve our problems from our side.
Okay, well...
From our side.
So check
and
this
they just
out.
didn't respond.
So
Fools.
Ms. Shaw says, and what about it felt like a crisis to you?
Yeah.
Because it's not just plainly on its face a crisis.
No.
Okay, so the fans and press are noticing you're absent. So what? People do that.
Yeah, that's not a fucking crisis. That's a problem.
What about it felt like a crisis to you? So Baldoni says, well, I think not just the idea of not being allowed to go to my own premiere was very hard. If I think about your question, crisis to me feels like another word for not good situation in the public. So it wasn't for I feel like regular PR is for run-of-the-mill everyday press. And then if there are situations that are not good, you hire a crisis PR person who specializes in that. Question. And what were you hiring Melissa Nathan and Tag as crisis PR?
Put it this way, if I have a heart problem, I don't hire a guy who works on shoulders.
That's right.
Okay.
And what were you hiring Melissa Nathan and Tag as crisis PR people to do exactly? And Baldoni says, I didn't know much about crisis PR, so I didn't really know at the time. Do you have a better understanding now? He said, yes. And what is that understanding? Baldoni says, to combat untrue negative stories with the truth. Really? Because your crisis PR people are sharing text messages where they are elated that they have confused everybody and nobody knows what the real story is.
Look at that language. Just read that again.
To combat untrue negative stories with the truth.
To combat. He's at war. Oh, this guy's at war.
That's all he ever thinks about.
He thinks about it as war, armor, victim. You know, there's no, and what it does is it creates an absence of common sense.
Yeah.
You know, it does. It just eliminates, at least, or puts in shadow his common sense.
This deposition so far is very insightful.
I can't fucking believe it.
Okay, but listen. So he reveals how he came to that understanding. Okay. She says, do you have a better understanding now about what crisis PR is supposed to do? He said, yes. What is that understanding? He said, to combat untrue negative stories with the truth. She says, when did you come to that
But you
understanding?
don't say counter, like it's combat. It just
know.
blows my mind.
No, let me continue.
Yeah.
She says, when did you come to that understanding? He said, after I met crisis PR. Meaning Melissa Nathan? And
I bet she's
Baldoni
fucking
says,
like houses full of like books of like war heroes now, like Patton and MacArthur, and like their autobiographies are all over the place.
his?
Yeah. Art of War all over his house. He's probably got like Art of War in all the different bathrooms.
He has most certainly not read The Art of War, because The Art of War is mostly about avoiding combat, which he had many chances to do, and he did not.
No.
Okay. When did you come to that understanding? He said, after I met crisis PR, meaning Melissa Nathan. And he says, and the various people that worked with her. At TAG, he said, yes. Okay, and when I say TAG, you understand that I'm referring to Melissa Nathan's PR agency, the agency group, right? He said, yes. Okay. And you said that Melissa Nathan, or the agency group's names, was one of the ones proposed to you as a potential crisis PR. Is that right? He said, again, not proposed to me, but I believe there were multiple that Jamie had met with. Do you know if Jamie actually spoke to or met with any other than Melissa Nathan and her team? He said, I'm not sure. Do you have an understanding of what led Wayfair and you to hire Melissa Nathan instead of any of the other recommended PRs? Baldoni says, I believe I entrusted that to Jamie to help make the best decision for us.
Wah, wah, wah.
And that, folks, is when it all went wrong. Do you have an understanding from Jamie or otherwise in terms of why he decided to hire Melissa Nathan over other names that were recommended? And Baldoni, he says, I didn't ask very many questions at that time.
Genius.
But I believe he thought she was very good at her job. He didn't ask very many questions in the most pivotal moment of his entire career. Look at where he is now.
Did you fuck this up, kid? From top to bottom, man.
God.
You're living life on like the fastest train on a silver fucking bullet. And all you figured out how to do through all of it was blow it up.
You know, it's weird because in other circumstances, he is such an overthinker. So why the fuck is he so like laxadaisical about
But he might
really,
be overthinking
really
this as
important
well,
stuff?
but he's overthinking it without getting into the actual
He
facts.
just puts way too much trust
It's
into
all
people.
his own head.
God.
He has a conversation with himself and his faith, and then his like men's groups and prayer groups and all those other things. And these are the things he's relying on. He's not actually going and doing it. We hear him. He doesn't watch the fucking, he doesn't read the articles. He's opining on shit that he doesn't know any information about. And he's accepting everybody else's interpretation without even having one himself. That is such a shallow fucking move, bro. Like, you think I'm going to let you decide? Angela, I love you. Like you're my sun, my moon, the whole thing. You're a million stars, right? You're everything to me, right?
Are you breaking up with me?
But I'm not going to let you I'm not going to let you make decisions, right? Like without me figuring out the facts. Like I wouldn't let you like turn to me making a big decision about my life or about my career or something.
like, could you
and you
imagine-
say something like, trust me? I'd be like, I love you, baby. I'm going to fucking read the fucking article.
Like if I was like, hey, I hired crisis PR for you, Dale. Are you interested in anything about
Oh my
them?
God, no! Like 0% chance that I would ever allow that to happen. Of
course not.
No, and I would
What's
never.
the matter with him?
Like, and he's the co-chairman of the. Like, he's just, there's a point at which delegation becomes just pure lazy or stupidity, or maybe a combination of both.
Well, maybe he'll learn,
Maybe
I
he
guess,
just wanted to
from this.
like smoke, cigarettes on a fucking hammock and strum guitars under fucking cherry trees.
He probably doesn't smoke cigarettes.
Fake cigarettes, not real cigarettes. He's just like imagining it because he's going to play a part one day where the guy's a smoker and he has to look natural. Is that how you do it? How do you do it?
Okay, listen. But I believed he thought she was very good at her job. The lawyer goes, do you know what led him to believe that? He said, I don't.
No clue. Absolutely no idea.
Not even interested.
I trust Jamie Heath with my fucking life. Let me tell you what.
Oh my God. The
Fool.
attorney goes, did you have any personal role in making the decision to hire Melissa Nathan over any of the other crisis PRs that may have been recommended? He said, no.
No. And
Are
look
you
at you
a-
now. And look at you now. Look
God.
who suffered the most. Out of all of this, who suffered the most?
Well, who lost the most?
Right. Well, I mean,
He
okay,
fell
we
from
could
the
say they're the
highest
same.
high
Correct.
because he trusted people he never should have.
That's right.
With very personal, very consequential decisions.
It angers me because this was a manageable situation, even though I still think, and I think the evidence proves very clearly that he fucked this whole thing up from the start.
Alternatively, maybe he's not telling the truth. Maybe he doesn't want to answer the questions.
Right now?
Yes. What if he was completely involved and he did have...
Then it'll come out in the other depositions. I don't think he would do that.
Oh, okay. You think he's honest about being
I don't think
uncurious?
I don't think that his testimony is dishonest so far. I don't hear lies coming out of him. I hear a profound ignorance.
Yeah.
A profound ignorance. I hear like a neglect, pure neglect.
Yeah, it is.
And I also hear like a guy avoiding at all costs any accountability.
Wow.
So
Okay.
far.
Are you aware of where Jamie got the names for potential crisis communications professionals that he was considering? And he's saying, he started to say, I imagine from, and his attorney stopped him. He said, Mr. Baldoni, don't speculate. And he said, no, I actually don't. He doesn't know. Do you know if he or anyone else at Wayfair asked Stephanie Jones for her views on crisis communications professionals that you should hire? He said, I don't. Do you know if she recommended Melissa Nathan or not? Baldoni says, if Stephanie Jones recommended, I now know that she didn't. How did you come to that understanding? Baldoni says, oh, sorry, he's being coached by his attorney. Miss Shapiro says, Mr. Baldoni, don't answer if the information came from your lawyers. So Baldoni says, yes, I can answer this. Stephanie Jones had sent me a text about Melissa Nathan. Question. You knew at the time that Stephanie did not recommend... Sorry, I screwed that up. You knew at the time that Stephanie did not recommend that you hire Melissa Nathan, correct? And he said, I knew that Stephanie did not like Melissa Nathan, yes. And Stephanie warned you against hiring Melissa Nathan, isn't that right? Baldoni says, I think you could put it that way with my interaction with Stephanie, yeah. And were you aware...
Is this the thing we know that we read?
Yes.
Could put it that way?
Yeah.
She said, don't fucking do it.
She was like, it would be a huge mistake.
She didn't...
It would telegraph too lively that you are making a bad mistake, that you're hiring like Johnny Depp's people or whatever. That you're gonna...
Bad. This is all bad.
Exactly. She'd be able to use that against you, is what.
It's so funny that he got P. Diddy's attorney and she got, who'd she get just now? Blake Lively?
Oh, who represented Epstein victims.
Victims.
But it's an attorney who's doing PR for the law firm, is what I read.
Okay, still.
No, but it's interesting.
It's so interesting. I mean, that's pretty important, actually.
Mm-hmm. And Stephanie Jones warned you against hiring Melissa Nathan, isn't that right? And Baldoni says, I think you could put it that way with my interaction with Stephanie, yeah. And were you aware that Stephanie also warned Jamie Heath and Tara Hanks against hiring Melissa Nathan? Baldoni says, I was only aware of what she texted me. Question. Jamie Heath and Tara Hanks never told you that Stephanie Jones had also warned them against hiring Melissa Nathan? He says, not that I recall. Sorry. Forgive me. Do you have an...
Take a sip of water if you need to, though. You know what I mean? Take a break.
Should I?
Yeah, maybe.
Am I getting a little mouth sounds?
No. I don't hear anything. I'm just saying it might be enough to reset the old button.
Wet my whistle.
Wet your whistle.
Do you have an understanding as to why Stephanie Jones was warning you against hiring Melissa Nathan? He says, I vaguely remember. I think there was a text message that she sent that said I'm reading it in my mind. There was a word shady in there, and it was like a link to something that I never clicked on.
What a fucking idiot. This fucking moron. Can you fucking believe this?
She was trying to warn you, and you
the
didn't
guy who
click
and he just described her up until this point as somebody that was friendly to him. I know that she lost some weight, and it's a shame because it's so fucking bad. It's just like,
You can't help people. This is why. I mean, you just can't help some people. She sent him a link. He never clicked on
you just have to click on the link. It's not like you have to rely on her because she's saying, don't rely on me.
Yeah.
Here's this. It's not her. She didn't make a video going, hi, it's me, Justin, and I want some information to get through to you.
Probably was. It was probably an article by Megan fucking Toohey at the New York Times writing about Melissa Nathan's her work against Amber Heard in the Johnny Depp trial. That's probably what the fucking link was.
Yeah. I mean, maybe we'll find out what the link was.
Okay.
Fuck.
I know. It was like a link to something that I never clicked on. Question. Other than the text message you're describing with Stephanie Jones, did you ever have a conversation with her about this issue, whether in person or on the phone? He said, I don't know. My memory of this time was that there was a lot of messages and I might have spoken to Stephanie. I don't remember the conversation, but felt like a frantic energy from Stephanie. Did you give any credence to the information that she was giving you in terms of why you should not hire Melissa Nathan to be aligned with you? He said, what do you mean by credence exactly? Did you take her concerns seriously? He said, I believe I did.
You didn't click the link.
Did you do anything to investigate them further before you hired Melissa Nathan?
Like, click the link.
And he said, I didn't have any capacity at that time to do personal investigation. No.
She sent you a link.
It is exasperating, right? Did you relay Stephanie's concerns to Jamie Heath or Tara Hanks at the time? He said, I believe I did, yes. Tell me what you recall about the substance of those conversations or communications. Baldoni says, I remember passing along that Stephanie doesn't like or didn't know who, that Stephanie doesn't like, and then he interrupts himself. I didn't know who Melissa Nathan was. One of the people, that's what I remember. So I think he's saying, I remember passing along that Stephanie doesn't like one of the people. Question, do you remember Stephanie Jones telling you in some or substance that Melissa Nathan and the tactics she uses as a crisis communications professional are not the kinds of tactics that you want to publicly associate yourself with? He says, that sounds very familiar. Question, are you aware that Wayfair and you decided to hire Melissa Nathan over Stephanie Jones's objections? He said, I would imagine so, yes. Okay, I'm going to show you what's marked as a document exhibit 5. It's a text message between you and Stephanie Jones, dated July 26, 2024. In this, the text message that you were referring to is this the text message that you were referring to that Stephanie Jones sent you, where she warned you against hiring Melissa Nathan? He says it appears to be. And this was sent on July 26, 2024. So does this refresh your recollection that you were considering bringing on Crisis PR before July 26, 2024? He says yes. Okay. And as you recall, Stephanie Jones sent you a link at the top of the text thread, right? He said yes.
Johnny fucking memory over there.
You said you never clicked on that. Is that right? He said yes. Why not? He said it might sound silly.
Oh, my God.
But it felt like there was an agenda.
Oh, my God, there was an agenda. She was trying to protect you, you fucking moron. And her agenda was to help you like you paid her to do.
It might sound silly, but it felt like there was...
It doesn't sound silly. It sounds bloody stupid. It sounds absolutely stupid. Void of intelligence.
It sounds like self-sabotage.
Oh my God. It sounds like putting the fire to the fucking gas. It's just, he blew up his own house, bro.
It might sound silly, but it felt like there was an agenda and it didn't feel, yeah.
Click on the fucking link and have a look at the agenda, you fool. How can you just... Oh, what do you think? It's a fucking voodoo link? You're going to fucking... Oh, I clicked the link and I got something. Like, what did you think was going to happen by clicking the fucking link? But the worst that can happen in that situation is that you confirm your little gut fucking feeling about it. The best thing that can happen is that you get educated about something that might be coming down the pipe that isn't good for you.
What if it was a scary image of a witch or something and it said, you will die in 7 days?
I mean, that'd be great. If it was that, then he would be right, because that's like scary. If you're like, if you're a guy who believes in,
maybe you should avoid clicking links just in case.
Believe in ghosts, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, so.
Wow.
So she asked.
There's spittle all over my keyboard.
So she asked, why didn't you click the link? And he said, this is not an answer. He said, it might sound silly, but it felt like there was an agenda and it didn't feel, yeah.
Ugh. It was icky.
Question.
The
and
icky
so
link.
Because it felt to you like she had an agenda, you didn't bother to look at what she was sending you?
Oh my God, it is that stupid.
And he says, I didn't say that.
You did, though. Okay, well, clarify.
Ms. Shaw says, you would never have survived in this deposition. Like, if you were just, like, watching.
Dude, I had to sit through depositions. Believe me, I know how to do it. I sat through, like, probably hundreds of hours. Oh, so many, like, this is me in a deposition.
Yeah. Scribble. Okay, so he says, I didn't say that. she said, let me just back up. And so because it felt to you like she had an agenda, you didn't bother to look at what she was sending you. He said, I didn't say that. How would you say it? She asks.
Please.
He said, I was going through a lot in my life at this time, and I didn't want to be in the middle or a part of anything like this. So I asked her to please communicate with Jamie and Tara as they would be handling everything. Question. Do you think it's important for you as
There's a point at which delegation becomes stupidity.
Yes.
And this is when when people get so lazy with their lives, or they can't manage his stress. He can't manage the stress of it.
He needed to be able to form an opinion before he sent to these other two, because especially because there's two of them.
Yeah.
So if they have a difference of opinion, then he needs to be able to be the tiebreaker if he's having them decide, right? So like, why would you not want to be informed?
I knew he fucked this thing up. I did not know.
Yeah.
The depth of his fuck up.
It's just he put his head in the sand.
It's just unbelievable.
I was going through a lot in my life at this time.
Curled up in a goddamn corner.
And he's not wrong. Like this is right before his premiere.
I don't give a
he
shit,
has this,
bro.
Like, major feud with this.
But he called it a crisis, and he called in crisis management. And you're not going to fucking pay attention.
No, I know it's really weird.
It's the most ridiculous.
Then postpone your crisis management until shit clears up, for you, so that you can focus on it.
Or sit down and talk to the person. Like, sit down and talk to the person. Like, try to get, let's sit down again or whatever. The whole point, like you said, about Steve Sarowitz, instead of him fucking saying he's going to spend $100 million destroying Blake Lively, why not spend just a couple $1 million and fucking get a mediator?
But this is the thing, too. He also, he said that the reason why he hired Crisis PR was because the public had noticed that they were appearing separately at the premiere. And he wasn't invited to his own premiere. Okay.
But he was, but okay.
But
he was there.
He's having these conversations on the 26th. So that's not true.
It's not true.
Because the premiere hadn't happened for another, at least 2 weeks, a week.
Right. And this idea that he didn't get invited to his own premiere is the most ridiculous thing. He fucking paid for it.
Yeah, I know, I understand. But according to him, he's saying that was the reason why. So what is the real reason why?
Right.
Because he's got his timeline screwed up. Okay, back to this.
Yeah, well, because he's confused. And the reason he's confused is because he didn't actually obtain any of the facts. He didn't look and examine any of the facts himself. He relied on Jamie Heath. He relied on Jennifer Abel. He relied on Stephanie Jones, or his opinion. Actually, worse is that he relied on this distorted opinion that he had of Stephanie Jones. And I'm going to venture the guess, and maybe there'll be some questions that will point us in this direction or not. But I'm going to venture to guess that Jennifer Abel had repeatedly spoke poorly of Stephanie Jones.
Yeah, she was trying to poach her clients.
Correct. So my and her being the point for 3 years.
So you're saying his poor opinion about Stephanie Jones is probably shaped in part by Jennifer Abel.
At least in part by Jennifer Abel, if not by majority. Because he said he didn't read the articles about her.
Oh, I know. He's
right.
Just going on
so it was about that encounter with her when she when she reached out to him in tears and said, write me a letter of rec. Mm-hmm. I call it rec.
Let me continue, okay?
Yeah.
Question. Do you think it's important for you as a public persona to take care in who you associate yourself with? He said, yeah. Do you think it's important for you as a
Let's get P. Diddy guy. Didn't you rep P. Diddy? Yeah, come over to our camp. Yeah, that'd be great. Brian Friedman, don't you hang out with Megan, what's her name? Megan Kelly? Yes. Love that girl. Come over, hang out with us. You're awesome. You're perfect. That's just the person I want to associate with. That's perfect. Yes. I'm building my reputation through the reputation of all these other great human beings that represent the best in life.
Also, he was credibly accused of some sort of sexual violence or something when he was
Friedman. Yeah. But maybe he didn't know that, and you can't really necessarily.
I mean, like put that on. Search a guy's name on Google.
Do a little work, bro. But that came through Nathan in the first place, where he got the icky feeling about the link. Because what he might find is that there's a rabbit hole involved. That there's a rabbit hole that he could have gone down that would have showed this almost sinister link between those two people. Mm-hmm. Continue.
Okay. Do you think it's important for you as a human being personally to take care in who you associate yourself with? He said, yeah.
Oh, no shit.
Have you ever heard, either then or since that time, about the work that Melissa Nathan did as a crisis publicist with respect to a woman named Camilla Sterling, who was found dead in a hotel room that was rented under the name of Scooter Braun's associate, David Bullno?
This is so crazy, dude.
Did you hear this yet?
Yeah. This is... Keep going.
He says, through this case in the last few weeks, yes.
Yeah.
She goes, if you had clicked on the link that Stephanie Jones sent you at the time, it appears that you would have learned about it then, doesn't it? He says, I don't know what was in the article, but if the article said something about crisis PR, then I'm assuming I would have learned. Question. You can see from the link that she sent, it says, singer Camilla Sterling died, David Balno hotel room. Can you see that? He said, yes. Okay, what have you come to learn since then about the work that Melissa Nathan did in connection with the Camilla Sterling incident? He said, oh, I haven't learned anything. I know what's, I think, being accused of. But I don't actually know anything that Melissa did or didn't do. You never talked to Melissa about this? He said, no. Still haven't? He said, no. Okay, you will see at the bottom of the text that Stephanie says, in quotes, she's reading Stephanie Jones, this is the kind of mess Melissa Nathan, Crisis PR, lies and cleans up. Balno works for Scooter and it was a nightmare. Lies. Dirty work. You see that? He says, I do. Did you ever ask her what she meant by that? He said, I don't believe I did.
Genius.
She then writes, and she's reading Stephanie Jones, I'm also don't want Blake's team to align you with people like this Melissa works with. Do you see that? He says, I do. Did you ever ask her what she meant by that? He said, I did not.
You fool. You fool. You know, it's like you park all your tanks on the border and you're like, what is she freaking out about?
On the border.
Yeah, that's, you build, that's what they did. That's how, Putin invaded Russia.
Oh, yeah,
he built up all those troops on the border, puts all the tanks there. Why do you need 30 tanks at the border? Oh, no, we're going fishing.
We're just sightseeing.
And we think we're going to catch the big one.
Were you aware at the time that Melissa works with people like Jed Wallace? He said, I had no idea who Jed Wallace was. Okay, so you don't know whether or not that's what Stephanie Jones was also trying to warn you about, right? He says, I don't know. No, I don't know. Because you never asked her what she meant by that. And Baldoni says, unless you have a document that says I did, I don't feel like I did. Okay, I'm going to show you a document that's been marked Exhibit 6. It's a text message between Stephanie Jones, Jamie Heath, Tara Hanks, and you, dated July 26th. Do you see this? He says yes. Okay, do you recall this text message? Do you recall this text message when you received it? He said vaguely yes. Okay, and in this text message, Stephanie Jones warns you, Tara Hanks, and Jamie Heath that you should not work with Melissa Nathan because, in quotes, there's a lot of dirty work she has done. And, in quotes, it's not someone that you should want in Justin's orb. Do you see that? He says yes.
That's
okay.
that's like the essence of great publicity work right there, by the way, is like to avoid disasters. Like agents do it.
Like you are
your transactional attorneys do it. Like they all are like, no. It's part of why I can't get a fucking.
They're going to be like, listen, everyone's going to see you as birds of a feather. You can't align with those people.
That's right. It's the same thing of like me. Like when people are like, when they learn who I am, if I'm trying to work with somebody,
that's why
the response is going to be, don't do it, dude. You want to be on the wrong side of that fucking bridge. This guy's bad news. That's how the blacklist works.
Unless you think those guys are assholes, and then you want to be on our side.
Well, there's that. Well, please, come on, billionaires out there. you. Find me I need a billionaire. One of them, just one. I don't think that's a lot to ask.
Or somebody who like hated playing poker with Tobey Maguire and wants to get him back. Personally.
Yes, an angry billionaire would be great. An angry, like unhinged billionaire that has enough money for me to launch a film company would be great.
Okay. Okay, and she goes on to say this, and she's reading Stephanie Jones, or for Blake's PR to use as a weapon against him. Do you see that? He says, I do.
My God.
Did you ever have a conversation with her about what she meant by that? Baldoni says, I did not have a conversation with Stephanie at all around this.
You are such a fool. You are the fool's fool.
Okay, but listen. The attorney goes, okay, do you have any understanding, whether from this text message or anything else that you knew at the time, about what she meant when she said, I just downloaded Tara on some dark stuff? He says, I don't. Did Tara ever relay the substance of that conversation with you? Baldoni says, I think I had a conversation with Tara and Jamie that I didn't want to be a part of any of this, so I trusted them to make the decision. I don't believe she told me anything.
What?
Okay, do you understand from this text message that Stephanie is telling you and Jamie and Tara that it might not be good for you to be associated with someone like Melissa Nathan based on the type of tactics that she has used in the past? And he says that seems to be an accurate summary. And that if people knew that you were associated with Melissa Nathan, or specifically in if Blake's PR came to find out that you had associated yourself with Melissa Nathan, they could use that against you because of who Melissa Nathan was, right? And Baldoni says, I can't speculate to what she meant by that, but it seems to be, she says, Blake's PR to use as a weapon. So, okay, now Wayfair and you, and they're clarifying that they're done with that document.
These guys are talking about the hip-hop-eponymous in chat right now.
Hip-hop-eponymous?
Yeah.
That's what's that comedy troupe? That's a sketch, right?
Yeah.
I never saw that show. Did you?
Oh, yeah, I loved it.
Are we going to talk about that now?
No, they're talking about it.
Okay. Nice. It's so nice you guys are having a nice time.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. Wayfair and you went ahead and hired Melissa Nathan after and despite Stephanie Jones's warnings, right? He said, I believe so. And there came a time in August after you had hired Melissa Nathan that the Hollywood Reporter published an article about the fact that you had hired Melissa Nathan, right? He said, yes. I'm going to show you that article. It's a document we're going to mark as Exhibit 7. It's an article from the Hollywood Reporter dated August 14th, 2024.
Oh, here comes the nuke.
Just for everybody's reference, this is in Justin Baldoni's unredacted deposition. The deposition pages is page 148, but on the file, this starts at page 41. Because a lot of people are like interested in the Schadenfreude of the way that he discovers this information.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's the document pages, page 41, page 148 in the deposition transcript. Okay?
Yeah. Thank you.
It's an article from the Hollywood Reporter dated August 14th, 2024 that says Justin Baldoni hires crisis PR veteran amid It Ends With Us rift. Do you see that? He said, uh-huh. And it goes on to say, and she's reading, the director and star has retained the services of Melissa Nathan, who represented Johnny Depp during the Amber Heard trial. Do you see that? He's trying to locate it. Okay, you were pretty upset when this article came out, right? And Baldoni says, I don't remember what I was feeling. The attorney says, you were worried when this article came out that being publicly associated with Melissa Nathan might make it look like you had something to be guilty for, right? Baldoni says, no, I think I was just not happy that my crisis PR was being publicized. I don't think it had anything to do with Melissa Nathan. Why were you not happy that your crisis PR was publicized? Baldoni says, because it felt like more of the kind of thing that felt like somebody would plant to draw more attention and fan a flame to something. Fan a flame to what? He says, to public speculation, to fan theories of why I wasn't doing press with anybody, and he either trails off.
I remember there was a letter that you got proposed to where you could have told the world that it was always planned to be that way so that everyone could be shutting up about it.
What's interesting is he says, it felt like somebody would plant to draw more attention and fan a flame to something. And he's exactly right about that.
Yeah.
He was totally right about that perception.
Yep.
He just doesn't know it yet.
Yep. It's amazing.
What were the fan theories at the time about why you weren't doing press with anyone? He says, I remember there being a lot of talk about all of the cast unfollowing me, why I wasn't doing press with any of the other cast members. I don't remember the date that this came out, but I don't remember if I had already done the premiere or not at this point. But I had also never read an article or seen an article about someone hiring crisis PR, so I found it odd. And you thought it made you look bad, right? He said, yeah, I think it did. You thought it made you look like you had something to hide? And he said, I think I had never been involved in anything like this, and I wasn't used to seeing my name in the press in this way at all, and I certainly didn't want my name out there in a negative way. You thought it made you look like you had something to hide that had to do with the allegations of on-set abuse, right? Baldoni says, I'm unaware of any allegations of on-set abuse. And she goes, to this day, you're unaware of any allegations against you of on-set abuse? And Baldoni says, abuse? I'm aware of allegations as were written in the New York Times article and in this lawsuit, yeah. She says, what do you understand those allegations to be? He said, I understand that I have been alleged to have sexually harassed Mrs. Lively, and then that I have alleged to have launched a retaliation smear campaign. Do you recall articles coming out around this time that called your on-set behavior abusive? He said, I believe I do. Okay, so you understand that this was one of the fan theories that was floating around about you, about why you weren't involved in publicity and why all the cast had unfollowed you, right? He said, not necessarily. Ms. Shaw says, well, yes or no? He says, no. Question. You're not aware of any fan theories at the time that one of the reasons that the cast unfollowed you and that you were not involved in a lot of the marketing of the film or publicity around the film was because you engaged in abusive or toxic behavior on set? He said, I'm not aware that those were fan theories, no. Any theories? Baldoni says, I'm aware that there were leaks to press that accused me of that, but I'm not aware of fan theories. Okay, and then she is... Okay, here's another exhibit. I'm going to hand you a document that's marked as Exhibit 8. It's a text thread between Henny Grace, Melissa Nathan, you, I think that's it. On August 14th. Do you see that? He said, I do. Who is Henny Grace? Baldoni says, that used to be my alias, but it's now become public, so... She says, no longer useful as an alias. All right. So this is a text thread between you and Melissa Nathan. Is that right? He says, it appears to be yes. On August 14th, which is the day after the Hollywood Reporter article that we just looked at was published. Do you see that? He said yes. Okay. And halfway down the page at 8:03 a.m., you write, in quotes, quoting Baldoni, talk to me about this. So I'm really frustrated about this crisis PR leak and framing it as Johnny Depp's firm to poise that I have something to hide. And also there was abuse. Do you see that? He goes, uh-huh. Question. And so you were concerned about the Hollywood Reporter article, framing it specifically with relation to Melissa Nathan's prior association with Johnny Depp, that it might mean that you had something to hide and that there was abuse on set, right? He said, yes, actually, yes. Okay. And then you say, and she's reading, what are you doing?
I'm listening.
Okay. And then you say, and she's reading a quote of Baldoni's, I don't understand how we are letting her continue to leak stories and do this to us. Do you see that? He said, yes. Who is her? He said, I presume I meant Miss Lively's team. Okay. And then you ask you ask Melissa Nathan to walk you through it. And then I want you to read Melissa Nathan's response on the next page. And he's asking, do you want me to keep reading past page 2? No, you don't need to. Okay. All right. So the lawyer continues. So she tells you at the top, and she's reading Melissa Nathan's quote. Sure. Firstly, I am also incredibly frustrated. Do you see that? He said, I do. Attorney goes on. Then she goes on to say, and she's reading Melissa Nathan, a PR should never be part of a story, but I also work with many people who are in trouble and protect them. Do you see that? He said, yes. Was it your understanding from this text message or any other conversation that you had with her about this topic that she was also frustrated by the publication of the Hollywood Reporter article? And Baldoni says, I'm reading that here now, so it appears she was frustrated. Question. Do you remember her conveying to you that she was frustrated by it? And he said, I don't remember outside of this. I was on a plane at the time, so we didn't speak. The attorney says, okay, did you speak to her outside of this text message about the Hollywood Reporter article? He said, I don't know. Do you recall any phone or in-person conversations with her about the Hollywood Reporter article? He said, definitely not in person. I don't remember any phone calls about it. I feel like this was me venting. So this was probably the conversation that we had. Okay. Attorney continues. And you're essentially asking her, like, tell me why this isn't a bad look for me, right? Baldoni says, I think I'm trying to understand all of this. I oftentimes reach out to my team to say, help me understand this. I have a feeling about something. I don't like this. Make me feel better about it. What does this mean? What is this? And I'm not a PR expert. Question. And why you agree? And would you agree with me that she did try to make you feel better about it? Baldoni says, it appears she did try. Question. She's essentially saying, this is not a huge deal. It doesn't look terrible for you, right? And Baldoni says, yeah. She's saying it's very normal, but that people have crisis PR. And it seems to me that she also said that it's not normal for PR to be a part of the story. So question. And if you look down to the 4th paragraph, starting Jen knows, do you see that? She said, in quotes, Jen knows. I spoke for an hour on the phone from 12 to 1 a.m. my time. She swears she had nothing to do with it, but I know someone placed this. Do you see that? He said, I do. Did you have any suspicion that Jen Abel had placed this? Baldoni says, no. Did you have any suspicion that Stephanie Jones had placed this? And Baldoni says, I had a suspicion that this was Blake's team placing this.
Wow, this is so fucking on fire.
Did you have a suspicion that Melissa Nathan had placed this? And he said, no. The attorney says, and here, she's essentially communicating to you. I'm frustrated by this. Someone placed this. It wasn't me, right? And Baldoni says, I think maybe when I first reached out to her, I may have been confused and wondered why my team might place this or if it was a leak. I don't really remember. I just remember I remember it being such a weird headline. But no, I never suspected that Jen placed it. Did you ever suspect that Melissa placed it? And Baldoni says, not in a negative way. I think if I reached out, I was confirming that no one from my team would brag about me having crisis PR. I didn't think that was something worth bragging or making an announcement about. Did you get confirmation from your team or comfort from your team that no one from your team had leaked this information? And Baldoni says, I believe I did. I believe this is part of that. Question. This message that Melissa is writing to you is part of the confirmation that you were getting that your team didn't have any part in leaking this information, right? He said, I believe so.
Wow.
Okay, and then she goes on to say, and the attorney's reading, it doesn't make you look bad. Do you see that? He said, yes. You understand from this that she was trying to reassure you that this wasn't a bad look for you, right? Baldoni says, I imagine that's what she's doing. Okay, and then she said, and the attorney's reading, a quote, all the reporters like and trust me, which is why when they called me, they took out all of the social media stuff and did a straight story as they wouldn't kill it. Do you see that? He says, I do. Do you have any understanding of what she meant by they took out all the social media stuff? Baldoni says, no, because even just reading it a second ago, I think I missed that too. Sometimes my reading comprehension isn't great. No, I have, and he's reading in quotes, the reporters like and trust me, which is why they called me. I have no idea what she's talking about. Did you have an understanding as of this time that she had spoken to reporters at the Hollywood Reporter about this article? He said, no. Did you have any understanding about at the time that she had tried to influence the article or kill it? He said, no, I think I missed that completely. Okay. Is this the type of negative association with Melissa Nathan and her past clients and tactics that you think Stephanie Jones was warning you about before you hired Melissa? And Baldoni says, I can't speculate to what she was worried or warning me about. And Ms. Shaw says,
especially since you didn't even open the fucking link, so yeah.
No, Ms. Shaw says that. She's like, because you never spoke to her about it yourself. And he said, yeah, I never did.
No.
Okay.
Fucking fool.
Did Melissa Nathan ever tell you that she, in fact, was responsible for the leak that culminated in this story? And Baldoni says she never did. Did she ever tell you that she was lying to you when she told you that she was incredibly frustrated by this? He said she did not. Did she ever tell you that when she said, I know someone placed this, that she actually knew who had placed it? Baldoni said she obviously did not. Did she ever tell you that it was one of her friends? Baldoni says, like before, she didn't tell me anything except what I see here. Okay. The attorney says, if those things were true, are those things that you would have wanted her to tell you at the time when you reached out to ask about it?
It's so great. I mean, you're so fried right now. It's crazy.
Baldoni says, I would imagine so. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Everybody would imagine so. You know what? Except the people who didn't fucking tell you.
I'm going to show you. Pull tab.
Wow,
please.
bro. Everybody. That's why she has that question. Because the entire world sings the same song as him.
Yes.
The entire world.
I'm going to mark this Exhibit 9. It's a text thread between you, Melissa Nathan, and Jen Abel, also dated August 14th, 2024. Turn for me to a page that's stamped at the bottom, please. He's asking to read it. They're clarifying which page to look at. Okay. So you're sending a screenshot to Jen and Melissa of a text that your old assistant Will sent to you, right? He said, yes. Did you read the text? He said, I did. And in that text, he's essentially expressing to you that it's a bad look for you, what came out in the Hollywood Reporter story, right? He said, yes. Okay. And you were passing that along to Jen and Melissa to what? Seek their feedback on that text? Baldoni says, I don't remember why I sent it. I just remember it didn't feel good. Why didn't it feel good? He says, who's on this text, by the way? Oh, it's Melissa. He says, I mean, I'm being talked about in public, and that sucks. Sorry. Should we apologize? We're talking about him in public.
Yeah, my heart's bleeding for him.
I mean, I'm being talked about in public, and that sucks. And he's telling me that he thinks that it looks like I'm trying to cover something up. And he wants to just share with me because he knows my heart. And I didn't want people to think that because it wasn't true.
This is Jamie Heath who knows his heart?
No, it's his friend.
Oh, his friend, right.
Yeah.
He knows my heart.
Who sent the...
Sometimes when we get together, we push our hearts very close together. And we just feel them beating against each other.
I mostly just feel
Can you feel mine, dude?
I mostly just
yeah,
feel
I can
the nipple
feel
part.
that. Can you feel mine? Yeah, dude, yours is beating hard.
It's not just to feel other people's nipples?
No, you're just like, can you feel that?
Okay, listen.
Yeah.
Question. And isn't this kind of association exactly what Stephanie Jones was warning you about when she advised you not to hire Melissa Nathan? And Baldoni says, again, I don't know what Stephanie Jones was exactly referring to, so I can't answer that.
How does this make you feel, fool?
Miss Shaw says, you understood that she had said to you that being associated with crisis communications professional like Melissa Nathan could be used against you because of that association, right?
Yes.
Baldoni says, I remember it at one of the texts you showed me. The attorney continues, and here is at least one independent source expressing that same view to you now, right? He says, yes.
Oh, fucking dude.
Okay.
I just wanted to be in the elevator with him. Just to see if he goes for a throat. Like, just to see if he's like, oh, I have to choke.
Oh my God.
Like, I don't know, like, I mean, obviously I kid, but I just don't know I wonder what it was like after this. I mean, if she's not there, I don't know. We didn't check. But if she's not there, Jennifer Abel was there. One of them was there.
If I had to deal with these revelations of betrayal and I was in the hot seat of a fucking deposition, I would probably cry.
Listen, I would probably like...
I would take a break.
Burst something. Sure. Something would burst.
Yeah.
Like there would be some burst from my blood pressure. Something would break.
Okay. So Ms. Shaw is asking, were you bothered by this? He says, I think I was. Okay. Can you think of another example of a director of a film hiring crisis PR during the promotion and release of the film related to the promotion and release of the film? He said, I can't think of an article where anyone who hires crisis PR publicizes it. And Ms. Shaw says, my question was, can you think of a single example of a director who hired crisis PR during the promotion and release of the film in your industry? He says, do you mean that I know of a director who hired crisis PR or that I read an article of a director who
Objections
hired crisis
assumes
PR?
facts, not in evidence, blah, blah, blah. It's a terrible question, Jan.
She says, either one. Can you think of any other example that you can think of where a director of a film hired crisis PR during the promotion and release of that film? He says, a director of a film hired crisis PR. As I sit here right now, I can't think of a director that I would know that hired crisis PR. Okay, pretty unique situation in the industry as far as you're aware. And Baldoni says, I'm sorry, what was the question? It's poorly formed, in my opinion. Okay. Mm-hmm. Question, is that a pretty unique situation in your industry as far as you're aware? That a director would hire a crisis PR in connection with the promotion and release of a film he was directing or she was directing? He said, I don't know because I don't think normally people find out when people hire crisis PR.
Exactly.
But you can't think of a single other example? He said, I can't right now, no.
Hated those questions.
Let's look at this for a second more. Just flip forward to the pages ahead of what we were just talking about from the beginning of the text thread, the pages ahead. Sorry, she's trying to situate him here. Am I correct that you and Jen and Melissa are talking about, generally speaking, what is going on with publicity around you and the film and this issue and how to handle it? Baldoni says, I think there were more articles coming out that she was sharing and giving me context about. And here we're talking about the trainer and my back. That's from what I see. Ms. Shaw says, okay, on the first page, on the first text, you write, in quotes, just woke up texting Jennifer with all the texts I'm getting worried about me. I imagine this truce didn't last. Do you see that? He said, uh-huh. Do you recall getting texts that morning or the day before that were concerned about you? He said, I remember going to sleep. I don't know if I was on a plane or whatever. I don't remember where I was, but there were a lot of people asking if I was okay. Question. And they were asking if you were okay because they had read the Hollywood Reporter article about you hiring Johnny Depp's crisis publicist, right? And he said, I don't know what they had read. I don't know how many articles there were, but I know that people were worried about me. Question. Was it your understanding that that was at least in part generated from the Hollywood Reporter article, or you think it was just a coincidence and out of the blue? Baldoni says, I had no idea what it was about. That's why I think that's why I was texting Jennifer, and I make reference to a truce between the two PR teams. And what did you understand about that truce? Baldoni says that they would not be planting any negative or untrue stories and that we would not be talking to any media. Okay, and you understand that that's a truce that had been made between Melissa Nathan and Leslie Sloan, is that right? And he said that's what was told to me. Okay, and you understood, as of this time, that both Melissa Nathan and the tag team and Jennifer Abel and Jonesworks team were interfacing with reporters about the incoming or published stories that were happening around the film and you, is that right? He's asking for a repeat. Okay, the attorney goes, I'm trying to get a sense of what you understood the tag team and Melissa Nathan and Jennifer Abel to be doing around this time vis-a-vis publicity. You understood that Melissa Nathan had reached out to Leslie Sloan and formed some sort of truce. Is that right? He said yes. Okay, you understood that Melissa Nathan was monitoring and handling any incoming PR inquiries. Is that right? He said, I think I had believed that both her and Jen were doing that. Okay, you understood that Melissa Nathan was interfacing with reporters as necessary on any of these stories, right? He said interfacing like communicating with? Communicating with, sure. Baldoni says, yeah. My understanding was that if someone reached out to her, then she would obviously answer that or communicate with them in whatever way a PR person communicates. The attorney says, and by someone, you mean a reporter? He said, I would imagine. And by she, you mean Melissa Nathan? He said, or Jennifer Abel. Okay. Did you understand that Melissa Nathan and or Jennifer Abel were actually speaking to reporters, whether on background or otherwise around this time? On your behalf? He says, well, I imagine so. We were still promoting the movie. The attorney says, and you understood that both Melissa Nathan and Jennifer Abel were speaking to reporters on your behalf at this time. He said, I'm not sure if I ever thought about who was speaking to who. Okay. They're on to the next document. Fair to say that you... Okay, so they said they're done with this document, is what they said.
Fair to say.
Ms. Shaw says, fair to say that you did not view the Hollywood Reporter article as a positive for you when it came out. He said, that's fair to say. Fair to say that you would have been pretty pissed if you had learned that Melissa Nathan had, in fact, leaked the information that resulted in that article, right? Baldoni says, I can't imagine I would have been happy about that.
Oh, that means you're not happy then. It means like in that moment, bro. In that moment.
He's like, what are you going to tell me?
I had none of this ever. Like there was not a single deposition where I sat in and somebody dropped bombs on me. Like this is this is so nuclear. This is two back-to-back straight up catastrophic bombs that completely should redefine this whole thing for him. Fellbombing wrote something really funny. He wrote, guys, oh no, what was it? It was JB, I need a break. This is intense. I got to go hit my text group or my prayer group or whatever. Let me get the one that's funny though. Not that wasn't funny. It was funny. It was one that it was really funny, and now I can't find it because I'm clicking all over the place. And damn it.
I'm going to continue.
Okay.
Ms. Shaw says, all right, I'm going to show you what has been marked as Exhibit 10. It's a text thread between Melissa Nathan, Ashley, and Amy Chozik, dated August 13th, 2024. Flip through this for me and tell me if you've ever seen this before. Baldoni says, no, I have never seen this. I don't have to flip through it. Do you know who Amy Chozik is? He says, I do not. Do you know if she's a reporter? He says, I do not. Okay, do you know who Ashley is? He said, I do not. Do you know if she's one of Melissa Nathan's good friends? He said, I do not. Okay, on the first page of this, there's a text from Amy Chozik and then a text from Melissa Nathan that says, and she's reading, I am on Zoom, but we need to pin Amy threw me to the wolves. Do you see that? He said, uh-huh. And then Amy says, and the attorney's reading, I didn't know that Josh would put it on the wires. Do you see that? He says, I do. And then Amy says, and she's reading, my money is on Melissa Nathan against the wolves anyway. Do you see that? He says, I do. Then Melissa says, stop sucking up. And then Amy says, I should be your publicist. Hire me. Do you see that? Baldoni says, I do. And Melissa says, done. $0 per year. Do you see that? He said, I do. Now, this text thread is on the same day as the Hollywood Reporter article was published. Are you aware of whether or not they're talking about the Hollywood Reporter article that named Melissa as your crisis PR? And Shapiro is speaking for him. He just said he has never seen this before. Can you move on to something that he actually has knowledge of? Baldoni's attorney is trying to get her to move
he's
on.
trying. Which is ridiculous. It's like, well, that's what we're doing. We're asking questions to find out what he has knowledge of, and it turns out not a lot.
Can you? Yeah, we would already have adjourned.
Yeah, it's just like,
for the day.
yeah, exactly. This deposition's over in an hour if we're actually just going to rely on what he actually knows.
Can you move on to something that he actually has knowledge of?
That's the most fucking nonsensical fucking argument made by an attorney to another.
Know. And Ms. Shaw says, no, I'm going to ask him the questions I'm going to ask him.
Yeah. Shut your mouth.
Baldoni says, is it okay if I read the document? And she says, of course. So he reads it. And the next question is, do you now understand that they were joking about the Hollywood Reporter article that identified Melissa as your crisis PR? And Baldoni says, it appears to be the case.
Yeah.
Okay, flip with me to the page marked at the bottom. Do you see where Amy Chozick at around 7:40 says, and she's reading a quote, I told our friend Josh that Melissa is a boss and has a cool client. Josh told his wife, who is a very prominent publicist. Sarah somehow told the Hollywood Reporter, and now they're doing a story on Mel. Do you see that? He said, I do. You understand that this is how the Hollywood Reporter got that story? Baldoni says, it appears that is what Amy is saying.
Kapow, bro.
Flip to this page, you see a screenshot texted by Melissa of a conversation between her and Pam. Do you see that? He said, I do. You don't need to flip back to the article, but I'll represent to you that Pam is Pam McClintock, who wrote the Hollywood Reporter story on Melissa. And you see they're texting, and she's reading, good to chat. Melissa says, just checking in to see if I need to look out for the article, and if so, when. And then Pam says, was just texting you. Story is very fair and going soon. Melissa says, thank you. Do you see that?
Come on.
Baldoni says, yes.
Ouch.
Were you aware that Melissa had spoken on background with the Hollywood Reporter ahead of the story being published? He said, I was not. Were you aware that she was managing coverage in the Hollywood Reporter story about her before the story was being published? He said, I was not. Amy Chozick writes, perfect. Do you see that? He says, yes. And if you flip down the page, they're talking about, and she's reading. She's just badgering.
Oh, this is so great. This is.
And if you flip down the page,
slap.
They're talking about.
Slap.
And attorney reads, what publication? The Hollywood Reporter. Ooh, exciting. I think so. Do you see that? He says, yes. Were you aware that Melissa and her friends were boasting and joking about how good this article was going to be for Melissa at the time? Baldoni says, I wasn't aware of this, so no. Because Melissa never told you any of this, did she? Baldoni says, I think I testified to what Melissa told me earlier, which was not this, so. Okay. If you flip to the page, you'll see that Melissa texts the Hollywood Reporter story to this group thread when it goes up. Do you see that? He said, uh-huh. And then Ashley says, and she's reading, oh, that's really good, Mel, like really good. Do you see that? He said, I see it. And then Melissa says, boom.
Oh, God. It's stressing me. I'm wringing my hands.
Oh, sorry. She says, and then Amy says, boom, this is good.
Oh, my God.
He says, I see it. And then Amy, lower below, goes, as read, and she's reading. You were going to hear from all the problematic men, Dick Pickapalooza. And Ashley says, men are always the problem. You're in the right game.
Oh, my God, bro.
Do you see that?
You were such a, oh, my God. You were so used.
I do. And what do you think of seeing this now? Baldoni says, I think it sounds like a group of female friends talking to each other about an article.
Wow, you're gonna go right to denial.
Are you pleased to see that Melissa was joking with her friends about the article that was causing you consternation at the time? And Baldoni says, I'm not pleased. I don't think that's the word, but. Are you pleased by the fact that when you asked her to explain this article for you and what it meant, she didn't tell you any of this? And Baldoni says, I'm sorry. He wants to, I guess he's distracted. She says,
His brain's fucking cooking.
I'm sure it's rolling. Are you pleased by the fact that when you asked Melissa, explain this article to me and what it means, she didn't tell you any of this? And he said, again, I wouldn't say I'm pleased. No. Are you pleased to be lumped in among Melissa's friends with a group of all the problematic men that need Melissa's help?
Oh my! Well, I mean,
And
she
Baldoni
speaks
says,
the truth. Come on, let's just be serious here. Like, what the one thing that she's doing is identifying for what he is.
And Baldoni says, I would hope that they weren't thinking I was one of the problematic men.
Oh, really?
But
It's in the article.
But that she was going to hear from all of the problematic men. Then it says, and he quotes it, Dick Pickapalooza. And then goes, so whatever that means. So he looks at it. Question. Do you understand from this that essentially what they're saying is this is an article about how Melissa has helped Johnny Depp in his abuse trial against Amber Heard and is now helping you in relation to the allegations by Blake Lively against you. And so now she's going to be hearing from all of the problematic men. And Baldoni says, I believe one could infer that that was what they were talking about. Do you see Melissa anywhere in this text thread saying, what are you talking about? Justin is not a problematic man. He says, not in the pages you gave me. Instead, she says, the attorney goes, instead, if you look at, you will see that Ashley says, reading Blake Lively, noting Melissa's name, haha. Then Amy says, in quotes, Joaquin Phoenix is calling. And then Melissa says, in quotes, I fucking wish. And he goes, I see that. Do you have a view from this text thread about whether or not Melissa thought the publication of this article was going to be good for her business? And Baldoni says, I can't guess on what Melissa was thinking or feeling at the time. And that was well coached, I guess, from his attorneys. Do you think it would have been fair for people to infer from the fact that you chose to hire Melissa Nathan that you were now one of a group of problematic men that she tended to work with? Baldoni says, do I think it would be fair for people to infer? I think people's opinions are fair. I mean, I can't control people's opinions. Question, do you think that would be a fair inference for people to draw from the fact that you had hired Melissa Nathan, who had also worked with other problematic men? And he says, I think that would be fair. I think in this case, yeah. Do you think you're a problematic man? He said, I don't.
No, I'm perfectly cool, bro. Are you kidding me? By the way, you look really sexy.
He's telling her, Miss Shaw.
Miss Shaw, if that's your real name. You look really. Shaw. I know it's probably inappropriate. I know that it's probably inappropriate for me to say this, but I think you're hot.
Oh my god, because he does that all the time. Yeah. Where he was like, I know that typically it's like a big faux pas.
I know I shouldn't be saying this, but I think you're hot.
I know people often get in trouble for doing exactly what I'm about to do, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Okay, do you think you're a problematic man? He said, I don't. She said, not in any respect. He said, I'm not sure how to answer that. She said, with a yes or no. He said, I don't. Okay. Do you think that this is the type of association, looking back with hindsight, that Stephanie Jones was trying to warn you about when she warned you not to hire Melissa Nathan? And Baldoni says, again, I don't know everything that was in Stephanie Jones's head, but I think that could be a fair thing to think. You said you felt at the time that Stephanie Jones had an agenda in warning you against Melissa Nathan. Do you remember that? He said, I do. Seeing this and in hindsight, do you still think she had an agenda, or do you think she was trying to protect your interests? And Baldoni says, I can't know what she was truly doing. I just know that the feeling that I had at the time, and it just felt very much like an agenda. Based on everything that has happened since you hired Melissa Nathan, do you regret the decision to hire her? And Baldoni says, I really tried to not have regrets.
Ah, you fool. This is how you don't grow. This is how you don't grow. This guy can't fucking come face to face with the discomfort of growth. He can't. He can't look at growth in the face and accept that to get there,
he's got to walk through some mud. So this is one of the really big problems about toxic positivity, is that you cannot have accountability if you don't have somebody admit that they did wrong.
Right.
Feel some sort of sense of wrongdoing.
Yeah, remorse.
If he doesn't have any
regret and remorse.
I understand that he gets really buried by regrets and it's really negative for him and he feels really fucking bad and it ruins his day.
Stop fucking up. Yeah. Stop fucking up.
I know.
Like, it's an easy thing to figure out. It's like, oh, that's the whole point of, like, he's trying to avoid the pain of his growth. And for that reason, he's not growing. This is, I think, a plague in Hollywood in general.
In Hollywood?
In Hollywood, yeah, because...
You don't think everywhere?
Well, I think it's probably everywhere, but I think most people don't have the conveniences that people have in Hollywood to do it. They don't have the yes factory that comes all around them, who all have interests in your approval of them.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think most average people might want to, but they get confronted with reality because reality is around every fucking corner when you're just a regular schmo. But when you're fucking, Johnny fucking billionaire, funded actor, director, you got people around you going, yes, ma'am, yes, sir, yes, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir, and. So he's what's worse is it's bad enough that you get to this stage in life where you're surrounded by yes men and yes women. It's so far, it's so much worse when you're the one hiding from the growth and the pain that's right in front of your face. Like he's sitting, because what she's saying there, and we'll see how it all rolls out, but what she's saying there is that he's already begun the compartmentalization of all of this shit
he just recognized,
into a file box that says no regrets.
Yeah, I know. So here he is. He's like, I got betrayed. I was duped. I was deliberately fucking duped. But I'm not even going to think about it because that if I thought about what might have been or where I could have been if I didn't make that bad choice to hire this person who betrayed me, then it would just be too negative, and so I can't have regrets. I got to just keep moving forward.
Well, the problem with regrets...
what do you do? And then the next time you hire somebody or the next time you have Jamie Heath fucking handle something for you, you don't think for a second about maybe you shouldn't have done that. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, in this situation, the regret is I trusted these people, they betrayed me, and they painted this situation to be a far different situation than it actually was. This was a manageable situation. These were mistakes I could have overcome, But that last thing I said won't even add up to a guy who's not willing to look at his own damn mistakes.
He should regret.
It's not that he should say that he's a bad guy, because I don't believe that he necessarily should believe he's a bad guy if he doesn't.
He should recognize that he should take advice from people he hires to protect him, like Stephanie Jones.
Of course.
I mean, I don't know why.
This is basic survival.
This
is business about, this guy is in an apocalypse. This guy is dead in 10 fucking minutes. This guy can't survive in an apocalypse because he's going to rely on everybody who's going to eat his meat.
What I don't understand is why regret is something to not have. Like, I have regrets and they're fine. Like, why is it a bad thing? I don't understand. He said, I try not to have regrets. Why? Regrets are just fine. You learn from those. Like, I don't understand why.
Regrets are like everybody's trying not to have regrets, fool.
Is it because they're so heavy that you can't handle it?
Few people in the world pursue regrets.
No, I know, but for instance, I don't see them as a big deal. Maybe that's his problem, is that he just makes them too big, like everything else he does. Mountain out of a molehill type guy. Okay, anyway.
But I mean, it's just the most absurd. It shows us exactly. It's just so insightful. It shows us exactly why he's where he is. And just every step of this deposition paints a picture of a guy who's completely neglected his growth, neglected the world around him, allowed all these other people to run amok with his affairs. Crazy.
Yeah, and he also chased his worst impulses all the way down into the fucking hole.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
On top of it, right? He had nobody, and this is the part of what I mean when you have your BFF is
not a single
Jamie
person
Heath.
was like, hey man, maybe you should just sleep on it. Calm down.
Right, Jamie Heath should have been the guy, right?
Like maybe this isn't the fucking big scary attack that you think it is. Maybe you're actually going to be okay. Let's just breathe. Nobody was doing that. Okay, based on everything
we are going to go for another 5 or 6 minutes, and then we're going to go into chat because we got to get some of the chat in.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Okay, based on everything that has happened to you since hiring Melissa Nathan, do you regret the decision to hire her? Baldoni says, I really try not to have regrets.
Fool.
And she says, is this one of them? He said, I really try to not have regrets. I don't have regrets.
Listen to this guy. See?
He says, you... So she says, you...
No. You've been fucking bamboozled, you fool.
So she says, you never have regrets? He said, not so much regrets, no. She's moving on.
So
okay.
It would be, she should try to find another word then. Okay. Are you disappointed?
Yeah.
Is there a part of you that wishes that you had made a different decision, even if you're ready to live with the one that you made? Like, she could dig deeper here and actually get into some psychology behind this fucking guy. But anyway, go ahead. What a fool.
You worked with a woman named Katie Case while she was at the agency group. Is that right? He said, I know the name because she was on messages and a Zoom or here or there, but I don't think I personally worked with her. Okay, but she was on the team at TAG. He says, yes. That was working with you on the Wayfair and Baldoni account. Is that right? He said, yes. Okay. You testified that you haven't read her deposition in this case. Is that right? He said, correct. Has anyone not a lawyer, has anyone other than a lawyer told you anything about what she testified? He said, no. Okay.
I wish you'd rephrase that because it should be like anybody that's not a lawyer that represents you.
He also wants to clarify. He says, I just want to be sure there was Brianna and Kate, and I'm not sure who is who. So I may mix the two up but I know they're both employees or former employees, but I just want to say that I might confuse two of them. I also confused two of them. The attorney
says, even Frank Sinatra has regrets.
Frank Sinatra.
Frank Sinatra has regrets and you don't. Come on. That's classic.
So random.
I love it.
Even Frankie baby's got regrets. Okay. Have you ever seen them on Zoom? Do you know what they look like? Baldoni says, I would need the name under their photos to tell me who was who. Question. Are you aware that Katie Case testified under oath in this case that Melissa Nathan instructed Katie Case to write the copy for the Stephanie Jones Leaks website? He said no. Does that surprise you? He says, it would surprise me. Ms. Shaw says, are you aware that Katie Case testified under oath in this case that Melissa Nathan gave her talking points for the copy for the Stephanie Jones Leaks website, including that Stephanie Jones holds clients hostage and that she leaks clients' confidential information and that she treats her employees horribly? And Baldoni says, I was unaware. Okay. Are you aware that Katie Case testified under oath in this case that she worked with Melissa and Jed Wallace to create and publish the Stephanie Jones Leaks website? He said, I was unaware. Are you aware that Katie Case has testified under oath in this case that she wrote copy for 5 or 6 tweets at Melissa Nathan and Jed Wallace's instruction for an X account lying Stephanie Jones? He says, I was not aware. Melissa Nathan never told you this? He said, nobody has, but you have. Okay, did you speak to Melissa Nathan at all after her own deposition?
Melissa Nathan?
Did you speak to Melissa Nathan at all after her own deposition? And Baldoni says, yes. Jamie and I had a 1-minute phone call with her. What was the substance of that phone call?
How'd it go? Oh, it was great. We had a great time. I killed it. You're going to be proud of me. You're going to be real proud of me.
Is that how this conversation's
You're going to be proud of me. What's your name? Justin. You're going to be proud of me.
What was the substance of that phone call between Justin Baldoni and Melissa Nathan after her deposition? And he said, great job. How are you feeling? Are you okay?
Great job. Good job. Pat her on the tush. Like you do like in baseball, and from a non-sexual standpoint.
The attorney says, what did she say? And Baldoni says, she said she was exhausted and it was really hard. It was mostly Jamie kind of just pouring into her. These people with their fucking woo-woo speak. That's such like yoga class talk.
Yeah.
It was mostly Jamie kind of just pouring into her, making her feel good. I just can't with these people.
It's so crazy. I studied New Age religion personally, like I bought like 1,000 books and I just read them all. And I was into the woo woo shit and I was doing the transcendental meditation. And I was going to astral travel, all this shit. And I never woo woo spoke ever.
I know.
Dude, I was a vegetarian for 14 years. I'm one
what does
again.
it mean?
No woo woo speak.
It was mostly Jamie kind of just pouring into her, making her feel good. God.
He just gushes into all of us, doesn't he? Can you just keep your fluid to yourself?
Yeah, what does that mean? Just like
pouring into you.
I guess like stroking her ego is the same statement, but it just sounds
filling up her cup.
It just really fucking irritates me.
He filleth of the cuppeth.
My problem is I spent 20 years living in Los Angeles, where a lot of these people exist, and they're fine, they're nice people, whatever. But it's like maybe I'm more irritated than the average like fucking Midwesterner that never encounters these people. Okay. During this phone call or any time otherwise. Did she ever tell you or Jamie that she and I had a lengthy conversation about the Stephanie Jones Leaks website and what Katie Case testified under oath? He says no. All right. Are you aware that Katie Case testified under oath that she worked with Melissa Nathan and Jed Wallace also to create a smear website against a woman named Amanda Ghost on behalf of their client, Rebel Wilson? This is all the stuff that was redacted before.
This is so crazy.
He says, I'm not aware of any of this, of anything that she had testified, but no. Okay. Have you seen any reporting about the fact that Melissa Nathan and Katie Case were involved in creating a smear website about Amanda Ghost on behalf of their client, Rebel Wilson? And he says, I haven't seen anything. I feel like I was made aware that there's another lawsuit happening. Do you know that Melissa Nathan and Tag had been named in that lawsuit? Did you know that Melissa Nathan and Tag had been named in this lawsuit? And he says, I think that's why I was made aware. Okay, do you know that Jed Wallace has not been named as a defendant in that lawsuit, but is named in the lawsuit as one of the people who was involved in creating that smear website on Amanda Ghost? And he says, I do not. Okay.
Alas.
Do you know that Brian Friedman also represented Rebel Wilson in connection with those lawsuits? He said, I did not.
I love that fucking name so much.
Rebel Wilson?
I just love it.
Look it up. Is this a stage name?
I don't know, but Dale. You have to call me Dale. You can call me Rebel.
I'll call you Rebel.
Rebel Wheatley.
You want me to call you Rebel?
Rebel Wheatley. Doesn't that sound badass?
Yeah. That's the name of your whiskey brand.
Rebel Melanie Elizabeth Wilson.
Okay, so she's
is an Australian actress, producer, and comedian who graduated from the Australian Theatre of Young People.
It's very Australian.
In 2003. So I guess I couldn't join that theater even if I was in Australia.
Okay. Are you aware that there's text evidence in this case about Melissa instructing Katie Case and Jed Wallace about Melissa instructing Katie Case and Jed Wallace instructing Katie Case about the copy to write against Amanda Ghost on behalf of Rebel Wilson? And he said, I don't even know who Amanda Ghost is. No one showed this text to you? He said, no. Okay, I'm going to hand you what's marked Exhibit 11. It's a text thread between Katie Case and Melissa Nathan. It's a long text thread, but if you could focus for me on this page, Mr. Baldoni'S attorney says, read as much as you need to answer the questions. He says, I have no idea what I'm looking at here. This is not something I'm on, right? And she says, no, it's not. You can look at any time. You can look at any time at as much of this as you want. I'm going to try and help direct you, and I'm going to direct you to start here. I want you to look at the text message from Melissa Nathan at 9:40 a.m. where she says, they're trying to locate where it is for him. She says, probably it's in the back, but it's not relevant to the questions. I'm going to ask you. Feel free to look at it anyway. Actually, you know what? I'm going to, the attorney says, ask you about it. So go ahead. Sorry, just trying to locate where he is. Let's start at the top. You'll see at 9:36 a.m., Melissa sends a text a screenshot from someone named Scott with a photo. Do you see that? He said, uh-huh. You understand that to be Scooter Braun, right? He said, yes. Do you know him? You know him, don't you? He said, I do. Okay, and then down
Scoots.
below.
I call him Scoots.
Yeah, you guys.
He's my little Scoots.
My wee Scoots.
He's my wee Scoots. I love the guy. I love him so he's my Scooty Scoots.
When he walks by, I just spin the propeller right on his head,
Yeah.
The one that he wears.
Sometimes when he goes by, I go scoot, 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 scoots.
You know him, don't you? He said, I do. Okay, and then down below, Katie Case says, and she's reading, good for you. And Melissa Nathan says, he cannot expect us to work with Stephanie. I won't do it. Do you see that? He said, I do. Did you have any understanding at the time that Melissa Nathan had extreme frustration about working with Stephanie Jones on Scooter Braun's account? He says, no. Did you have an understanding at the time you hired her that she had extreme animosity towards Stephanie Jones, stemming in part from their mutual work on Scooter Braun's account? He said, no. Have you come to have that understanding at any point since, or is this the first you're hearing about it? He said, this is the first time I'm hearing about it in this way, yeah. Did Scooter Braun ever express to you any issues that Stephanie Jones and Melissa Nathan had about working together for him? Baldoni says, Scooter and I rarely, if ever, talk.
But what? It's Scoots.
It's Have you ever talked to him since these lawsuits were filed? He says, no. Not once? No, not once.
Scoots is grifting. Scoots is grifting.
Yes.
He's on the grift.
He's getting that billionaire money.
Dude, he's getting that money. He smelt a pot full of money and he
He's
was like,
probably
I'm going to go get my...
not talking to him because he doesn't want to be...
This motherfucker is taxing
sniffed out.
billionaires, bro. Taxing billionaires.
Are you aware that Melissa Nathan and her team at TAG would regularly send texts about Stephanie Jones, calling her a fucking bitch and saying other pretty nasty things about her? And Baldoni says, I don't know how I would be aware of that. Were you aware that...
That wasn't the question, fool.
Were you aware that they felt that way? He says no. Okay, were you aware that Melissa and Jen joked multiple times about killing Stephanie Jones? She misspoke.
Because it's hilarious. It's hilarious. It's so funny. It's like, I wish we could just kill her. Wouldn't that be fucking hilarious? What if, like, imagine if you, like, wake up in the morning and they'd be like, hey, where's Stephanie Jones? Dead.
Were you aware that Melissa and Jen Abel have joked multiple times about killing Stephanie Jones as a gift to each other? He says, I am not.
I got you something. You're going to love it. Come here. I want to show it to you. It's in this bag.
It's in this trunk.
It's in this trunk. In the trunk of my car. It's in the trunk of my car. I want to show it to you. You should put your hair in a net.
He says, I am not aware of that. Okay. Ms. Shaw says, that's not something that anybody has mentioned to you? He says, no. Okay. You see below, Melissa says, and she's reading, he cannot expect us to work with Stephanie. I won't do it. And then Katie K says, it's just not possible. Oh my gosh, wait. What if you use the Business Insider thing as a reason not to do it? This really showcases how little she can be trusted. I don't want her interacting with my team. We're working too hard, and I'm worried about details being leaked internationally if there is a difference of opinion. Do you see that? He says, I do. You understand from this text message that Katie Case is suggesting that Melissa Nathan should use the Business Insider article that's coming out about Stephanie as a reason to try to get Scooter Braun to separate from her. Do you see that? He said, I do. It's just my brain is, and there is attorney asked for a break. He says, no, I'm just trying to, there's so many pieces here. Okay. So one more time. And so Ms. Shaw says, you see that Katie Case is suggesting to Melissa Nathan that they should use this Business Insider article that is coming out about Stephanie Jones. Show it to Scooter as a reason he should stop working with Stephanie. He says, okay. And do you see that? He says, and do I see it? Got it. There's a lot of dots. If this is the same Business Insider thing, which I don't know if it is, then yes. I just don't know what the Business Insider thing is they are talking about here. I was not a part of that conversation. The attorney goes, right, and you're not aware that Katie Case and Melissa Nathan actually fed most of the details to the Business Insider reporter to get them to publish that article in the first place, right? He says, correct. Okay, all right, let's keep flipping. And then Ms. Shapiro is asking for a 10-minute break.
Yeah, so why don't we use this as our breaking point?
Let's see if she says, I probably have 10 more minutes of questions. So then let's take a break now. Okay, they're off.
Great. So that's where
we will also take a break.
We will also take our break, and let's get into some chat, and then we'll call it a night. Fucking, thank you so much. You fucking killed it again. Yeah. You're so great to us.
That one time.
You're so great to us. I can't believe you can pull off 2 hours of reading like that, and
ta-da.
Yeah.
It's no large feat. I mean, it's not like I'm exactly doing a great job or anything.
Hey, listen, man. Nobody's paying you.
I hope it's
you're just doing this from your heart. Thank you for that. I thank you on behalf of all of us, although all of us will thank you as they do. Delicate called you what'd she call you? She said you're an angel, I think, or
she called me a queen.
Yeah, she called you a queen. That's right, which makes me the king. And I think I'm an evil king. Probably, I'm gonna probably go with evil king. Maybe, probably not. Lots of fun hanging out with you guys.
Let me just mark where I am on my little notes app here, so I don't screw this up. Are you in the chat?
Yeah, let me. There's so much. It was a good chat. So there's like hundreds here. So I don't know where to even begin. But Deanna's got some pretty funny stuff. Let me see here. Cosmic Energy popped in and popped out. He's kind of grumpy.
Did you know
hope he's okay.
Did you see any new names?
He seems grumpy. In the chat?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know. Melissa Jane? You remember Melissa, though. She's here. Hi, Melissa. Good to see you. It has been a minute.
Okay, here we go.
Wait, we got, oh yeah, potato.
Coming in hot with Potato.
Okay.
Who is such a comedian.
Yeah.
Dick Pickapalooza runs right after Burning Man. They're basically the same event.
Well, I want to go. You know, I got to go check that out. I just want to see what that's about.
Deanne says, all at Joshua Tree.
All at Joshua Tree. First of all, Joshua Tree is the coolest place ever.
No Two Trolls says, I like it when Dale makes Angela cry laugh and she's not able to contain it. I swear to God, I feel like it only happens here and it's so embarrassing.
Well, that's not a very good thing to say. I think I cracked
No,
it
you
up.
make me laugh all the time.
Yeah.
But when I can't stand it, it's probably because I'm on camera and I'm like, can't
You don't want to make the faces?
cope. The junk farm said, it's literally what Jones warned him about. The entire time he could just be shouting that at Justin Baldoni, like, everybody saw this but you, you fucking idiot. And they were telling you. Deanne said, I love it when they call him creepy. Jones trying to give him professional advice, says No Two Trolls. Are you with us?
I am. I'm enjoying the
Deanne
chat.
said, still giggling like a teen about Dick Pickapalooza.
Dick Pickapalooza is so funny.
Potato is like, the next question is, do you remember the agenda-laden links?
Like, it's just so ridiculous. Like, it's just amazing how culpable he is for not just the mistakes that he made while making the film, which I think are abundant, but he's so culpable for the exacerbation of the problem. I mean, he's the sole reason for it, in so much as that everything was an offense. He could not recognize an olive branch for an olive branch. And
Unbelievable.
And in part because he was relying on people that he refused to even do basic background checks on, despite the fact that in their hands held his precious career.
Deanne said, no regrets.
No regrets?
He because he says he has no regrets.
Yeah.
So he probably, no regrets tattoo?
No regrets tattoo.
No regrets.
No regrets.
Yes. The joke is that somebody gets a tattoo that says no regrets.
Oh, and then it's
But
spelled
it's
wrong.
misspelled.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
I actually knew a guy, dude. It's
The reason I was pausing on that is because we had a mayor here called Mayor Gertz, and I said for his reelection that I think he should come up with a sign that says no regrets. And so I was like, is this person in? Did they live here? No. Because that's were they listening to me? Because I'm pretty sure I'm the only one who came up with no regrets.
You got paranoid.
I
actually knew a guy who got a tattoo of his name on his back, like all the way across
Misspelled.
his back, and they misspelled it.
Wow.
You want to know what his name was?
Yes.
It was O'Leary.
O'Leary?
It's a really simple name.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought you were going to come up with something like,
I know, his friends were like, dude, do you have beef with the tattoo artist? Like, fuck that up.
Why was it 2 E's? What did they do? You don't know.
No, it said O'Leary.
O'Leary.
Yep.
O'Leary. What if they just didn't like him?
Poor guy.
They were like, he won't figure it out.
I feel bad for him. It's not cheap. Hanada said, I imagine how many pissed clients Melissa Nathan has right now.
Yeah,
They'll have to drop her, lose the money, and get someone else before their names are leaked too.
Yeah, she's a mess. She's an awful, awful businesswoman.
Deanne said, Hanada, there are more lawsuits coming. She is invoked with Rebel Wilson and a Korean case.
Yeah, she's in trouble, man.
I'm Bobo said, this is his movie and his case. Unbelievable how unaware he was of what was going on.
It's maddening. It's maddening to see this guy have this much importance. Like the importance with this. You know, like when Tobey Maguire started fucking coming undone, what did I do? I followed him around. It didn't work. He still fucking completely sabotaged my movie. But I didn't let him out of my sight until he did. And during that entire time, I did what I could, albeit as futile as it ended up being, to stop him. And that this guy was like, like fucking in a fetal position.
He was an autopilot, man.
Yeah, he was an auto damn pilot.
I just thought that this was really funny. No Two Trolls said, after this is all done, I think Melissa Nathan will use Jed Wallace one last time like an Ocean's 11 sequel. We got to get the the gang back together for one more job.
They fucking announced, they're doing another one.
Yeah, of course, because it's fucking awesome.
Is it?
Yes, those movies are undeniably awesome.
Really?
Yeah, they're like, you have to accept them for what they are. But like, yeah.
I try. Maybe I got to rewatch them with that. But I only watched one, and I was like, "What? Why do you care?"
I
hate Brad Pitt.
Mission Impossible movies where you're okay, it's an action movie. There's going to be like dialogue quips and unrealistic situations.
Hate's a strong word for Brad Pitt, but I dislike him these days. Just that whole thing with his kids just.
Oh yeah, of course.
Ended me sort of like it's none of my business. It's his business, whatever, and alcoholism and all that. And I get it. I do. I get it. I get his perhaps side of the conversation.
Do you get to appreciate him before then? Because there was a before then where he didn't have those problems.
It's just I got to get over it. I got to get over it because it's like it doesn't make that much of a difference in terms of like it's not like I mean obviously I feel for his kids, but it should be easy enough for me to separate the art and the man on this one.
Yeah, especially if you're watching things that happened before.
And I think it was because he worked with Leo, and I'm like, fuck all y'all.
Kiki is saying Justin is lying. He wanted to feel like Lively could be buried. Nathan could do that for him, so he was always going to hire her.
You are correct. And this is a very fucking important distinction that I'm sure is going to come out in this, and I'm waiting for it.
With this attorney doesn't get into that.
Yeah.
But the Blake Lively's attorneys do.
Of course. Kiki is 100% right on this, and I can't wait for that to come out because there's no doubt about it. He knew what he knew what he was shopping for, and he got what he was looking for. 100%.
Yeah, she wasn't going to talk him down from that.
No fucking way. Now, that's not to say that his mind might not have changed or might have changed had he known in advance that she was two-faced to him, because he's foolish enough, I think, to believe that people have a certain loyalty to him. And I got to tell you, man, I felt the same way. Like, this is a naivete that can unfortunately infect people who are actually generally not popular with the people that they like, or that they're not. Like, I had feelings of the way that I thought people, felt about me, or perceptions, I should say, about how I felt people, felt about me. Turned out to be not real. Like, I mean, it's, and it's not like I'm not trying to say like people hated me or anything. I'm just trying to say like I thought people fucking loved me, and I'm not kidding. Like, I thought they loved me. I thought I was a lovable guy. I spend most of my time trying to make people smile. I'm in service of most of my friends. I'm just loyal to a fault. So though I have my imperfections, I'm generally speaking a good friend to have, or at least this is my perception of me, and it falls short. And I think that this guy, and that was a difficult thing for me to deal with. Like when I came face to face with that, like I thought people would miss me, bro, and they just don't. And it's just like, oh wow, that's really fucking painful. Not how I thought I was being perceived. And I think he's going to go through that if he hasn't already. I think this guy thinks people absolutely love and adore him, and it's true in some cases. I mean, we hear Friedman and Sarowitz just swoon over him.
Yeah, I mean, Friedman's paid to do that, but I think Steve Sarowitz means it.
But he is still in receipt of it. He's still getting this sort of feedback. Whatever. It's just weird. I think this guy doesn't know how people truly perceive him to be, and that's particularly interesting when he's so clearly annoying. Like the guy is so clearly fucking annoying with his fucking constant like needy bullshit and his like woo woo shit, and every fucking sentence out of this guy's mouth, like can you bring the real one time?
Yeah, right.
Just bring it real, bro. Like stop with all the shit, strip it down, and have a conversation.
Deanne said, I didn't know, and if I did not understand. I never read it, and if I read it, no one explained it to me.
Yeah, exactly.
That's incredible.
Yeah, that's perfect. It's like
exactly what he fucking said.
It's a mini Darvo specific to
a perfect summation.
Getting information that's important to him and to making decisions about his future.
Junk Farm said there's a new video out today that the Baldoni stands read this exact same stuff and concluded Lively is so cooked.
I mean, they're going to be. It's just so amazing because like it's like objectively like horrible for him. If I was like
that's amazing.
Like I believe Lively's side of the story. If this deposition blew that up, we'd be dealing with that. We'd be like, holy fuck, I was wrong about this, and I'd be just falling all over it, admitting what I'm being exposed to.
This is interesting.
Or not in denial of it.
Archival Raccoon says that saying that he does not have any regrets about hiring Melissa Nathan is quite telling.
It's, I think, incredibly telling.
Because that means that all of the smear campaign that Blake Lively has been subjected to is something
good for him.
He is all behind. Yep.
Yeah. This is it. This guy is a fraud. Because in no reasonable, like, again, his pro move would have been 100% would have been, guys, don't fuck with this woman. We're going to go through this thing that we're going to go through. We're going to do it through the civil litigation process, and we don't need the world beating up on a woman over it. You know, the facts will come out. And
Heath and Wayfair, they knew exactly who they were hiring, and that's why there are no regrets.
That's 100% true. I believe that. He's a liar to your face, but I do believe that his lies are something he convinces himself of before he performs them. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think he goes through the process of like talking himself into everything that he speaks about as truth, despite the fact that it's overwhelmingly untrue.
The Junk Farm said that the comments in all of those pro Baldoni videos are all in lockstep about how much he's winning. And then Deanne said, is he winning like Charlie Sheen winning? Like Tiger Blood, like so much winning?
I mean, man. Yeah, I can't even it's the most...
Deanne bringing out the deep cuts.
Yeah, she's going deep. It's just absolutely bizarre that people are not aware of what's going on around them. Like, his lawsuit got thrown out. They didn't read the citations by the judge. I mean, the admonishments. I mean, straight up like, no, you're wrong. The evidence does prove that Wallace attacked Blake Lively for things outside the course of this dispute. It does appear as though a smear campaign was launched and executed, and that it does appear that the Wayfair parties did what they said they were going to fucking do.
Yeah.
That's in his fucking dismissal.
Yeah.
And these people are just walking around. And look, look, if they want to fucking have their eyes closed when a big hunk of wood hits them in the face, that's their business. But if their eyes are open, they could duck from it and it could miss your head.
Deanne said, the psychic said, I am winning. My prayer group and brain trust says so much winning is going on.
Zach Peters says, I'm brilliant. And
that's so great.
And Andy Signor, he knows my name.
It's just, I wonder whether he is like that. Like, I wonder whether he is doing that. My psychic said that I'm winning. My prayer group and brain trust says so much winning is going on. Like, what's going to happen when he loses the case? Do you think that he's just going to have like a psychotic break or something? Like, do you think he's just going to have a fucking breakdown? Like, is he not really preparing? Because I've noticed he hasn't really articulated a defense. Does he really believe all of this that he says about her?
Well, does he
think he's going to win?
What we've clearly see so far is that he's willing to believe what he wants, even in the face of contradiction. Like, she just laid out where he was betrayed by both of his publicists in two separate occasions, and he's cool with it.
I can't think about it. I can't let it get me down.
I live with no regrets.
And he's always like, I was dealing with a lot, so I didn't even think about it.
It's so funny that he says that he tries to live with no regrets, but yet he wrote a book talking about how he's overstepped boundaries. So I guess he doesn't regret those then either, right? Does he regret this stuff? The stuff that he said about overstepping boundaries and not taking no?
Toxic positivity is very tantalizing for people
Yeah.
who have made bad decisions
Yeah.
in their lives and have actually hurt people and may not be the good person they wish that they were.
Yeah.
It is so...
So it's just a form of denial.
Yes.
But a reinforced form of denial.
Yeah.
It's one thing to say no, but it's another thing to say, I'm great, and
like right now, okay, so here in America, everything is harrowing and nothing is fucking great and everything kind of sucks.
Right.
Like everything's, the news is like, ugh.
Yeah.
Like you wake up, you open up your phone and it's like, nightmare.
Somebody's getting shot in the face or whatever.
So it's like,
by the government.
It's super important for people to understand that staying positive is beneficial, but that there's a point where you start to engage in toxic positivity, where you're no longer kind of engaging with reality anymore. Like in all kinds of situations.
Positivity sounds like an 80s song title.
Yeah, it could be.
Toxic, but like Depeche Mode or something.
We should make it as a song. I know people like this, right?
Toxic positivity
where
is such an interesting...
you can't talk to them about anying negative whatsoever. They won't hear it. And you're like, what? What's up with that?
I'll tell you what, they're typically, for me, in my encounters with people who display this sort of trait or whatever, they are actually like deeply depressed and sometimes even troubled people.
It's because they're like on the edge and they can't cope with negative things because everything else will fall down.
I had this guy that I allowed to read some of my book, and he was just like this Johnny positive. And then he just turned like in an awful way. Like, and by awful, I mean like he just everything seemed antithetical to the person that he was putting on display prior to this. And it was somebody that I'd only met, but through another person through a great recommendation. And so we got along well, and it's no slight on him. Actually, he's a fine dude, whatever. But it was just such a, like we just stopped talking because I was like, wow, this is totally a different dude. But he had this weird air of like everything was positive. And I think when the book started to break down from that, like, because my book is generally speaking, relatively speaking, positive.
Oh, it was about your book?
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. Well, I think it was. I don't know.
I think a lot of people are masking a lot, right? And then sometimes they just have to drop their mask because it's just too much effort to keep up. It's really sad. But anyway, toxic positivity, I think it came out of the 80s and 90s where it was like everybody was doing it. And then it was really fun for all of our like...
It's like some Dale Carnegie shit.
Yeah, probably. You know, like The Power of Positive Thinking, I'm sure, is a one of these books or whatever that everybody got into. But then
toxic positivity is the excessive and ineffective overgeneralization of a happy, optimistic state across all situations, dismissing or invalidating genuine negative emotions like sadness, anger, or fear as bad, leading to suppressed feelings, isolation, and hindering healthy emotional processing and growth. Specifically, we said this guy's denying growth. He's denying the discomfort of growth.
So when you say, I have no regrets, immediately after you hear that you have been betrayed and lied to by people that you have closest to you in a major crisis.
It's such a worse thing than that, because
weird.
Not only were you betrayed and lied to, but you were made to believe that this person who is now your sworn enemy and that you will forever be associated with, and that you will always, once this case is finished, that you'll always be liable to, if she gets the judgment that I think she's going to get.
Yeah.
That's the extent that you're willing for this to go. Like, because what should have happened at the end of this deposition, he should have walked out of there. He should have looked at Blake Lively at the end of this deposition and said, we need to talk. We need to talk. Because I did not know these people fucked us over like this.
Oh my God.
So I made some mistakes. I think you made some mistakes, and you can decide whether or not you did it on your own.
We'll discuss it in mediation.
But let's discuss it in mediation, because these fucking people fucked me over, and we just found out about it today. Like, that's how that should have went. That's how that go. If I'm sitting across from a lawyer who tells me that my publisher...
You'd call a break and you'd shout...
I would be like, you're not coming back in the room. I don't want this chick in my room. You're not in my room. Get the fuck out. I'm part of this case. Fuck you. You're not part of this case anymore. Get the fuck out of this room. You can fucking watch this shit on video. Get out of the room. I don't want to see your face ever again.
I don't think you can, right?
Well, you can say whatever you want, and not necessarily. And he can potentially get her out of the room and watching on a video. I would have a hard time keeping my cool
if I heard what he's hearing.
I would be outraged. I would be outraged beyond. I would be inconsolable.
Yeah.
Look, I would do my best to get to Blake Lively and say, look, I got screwed over in a bigger way, and yeah, I fucked this whole thing up, and I need to make amends to you. And I need to clean out the closet. That's how I go. But that's not because he has no regrets, and no regrets means that he's prepared to deny reality in order to protect his feelings.
Potato
and ego.
Quoted, pouring into her and then pause.
It's
so weird.
He's such a weird...
The Junk Farm says, can you imagine Baldoni pulling all this woo-woo LA speak with his new friends in Nashville? Oh, to be a fly on that wall. Oh, trust me. He's going to have plenty of woo-woo fucking friends in Nashville.
Yeah,
he's going to find his like, oh, yeah, I just moved to Nashville from Asheville type people.
Yeah.
There's going to be plenty. He's probably got a bunch of friends from where he used to live in LA who live in Nashville now. Nobody can afford to live in LA anymore. That's why we're here. These people always find their peeps, for their
I had an auntie that was
breathwork therapy and their hot yoga. What?
I had an aunt that was toxic positivity. She lived.
They're hard to deal with.
She lived the Tammy Wynette, like
Stand by your man.
Stand by your man.
Yeah, man.
Like she was like her husband ran around straight up, and she was just like,
it's all good.
No, she literally said, if I didn't see it, it didn't happen.
You're like, how?
That's fine. Be like, yeah, but everybody knows.
Yeah.
They see them coming in and out of the motel together. And she's like, I didn't. Is basically her position. Yeah, and so she's like, my marriage is fine. And you know what? They lived together for her until they both died.
That's a little bit of yikes. That's a little bit of like,
That's a
how
big
many
yikes for me,
pills
man.
do you have on your bedside table? You know,
Yeah.
like it's a little bit,
So
it's
you're
a little bit worrying.
So you're managing your state.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's tragic in a lot of ways because what it also does is it creates an opportunity for people to get hurt even more, right? In whether, I mean, I'm saying necessarily this is the case for our friend JB.
Well, you know what it does? I mean, in his case, he's made himself into a fucking doormat. And he doesn't like to be a doormat. He doesn't want to be taken by anybody, right? Like he has made himself into a mark because he has very, very loudly proclaimed to the entire world and everybody working with him that he's not going to investigate anything. He's not going to ask questions. He's not going to have any curiosity about basic facts,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And so he's going to be super easy to take advantage of. So anybody that knows anything about how to take advantage of somebody is going to know that about Justin Baldoni everywhere he goes for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
Because he just wants to stay positive and he wants to, you know, build bridges and fucking pour into people and fucking whatever, hold hands and wahoo, you know? But it's like you're going to lose your money and you're going to get taken advantage of everywhere you go.
Deanne said at one point, can Jamie answer my questions? I need to feel safe.
It's a weird dynamic. Do you think that means that he moved to Nashville too?
Oh, that's what Phil Baumling said. He said, guys, I don't think Blake had anything to do with this. Pray for me, guys.
Yeah.
Like his prayer group.
Yeah.
Guys, I don't think Blake had anything to do with this. Pray for me. It's like, you know, how frightening must it have been? Like, I don't know, like, how do you not realize, like, the enemy is within, buddy? Like, the Trojan horse happened.
Yes. I know.
They brought in a Trojan horse, bro, and they fucking wrecked your life.
You know, what happens typically is that people recognize red flags for what they are and they don't get involved in these situations. But once you find out, you know, I don't know. He's in a bad spot. Turns out that he made a lot of mistakes. Potato said, Scoots, we talk about everything.
Me and Scoots? Oh, all the time. I got him on speed dial.
Deanne said, they are a nasty little coven of evil, Melissa Nathan and Jen Abel.
Correct. Yeah, those people are driven by greed and fame and just think it's weird. What's up, SC? It's good to see you. Nice to see you. It's Sunday. Good to hang out with SC.
It's good to see everybody today.
Yeah. Thanks, guys, for coming out. Appreciate you.
There's probably better things to do on a Sunday.
Thanks for the likes. Well, apparently not, Angela.
I was really glad to be able to read these things for people just to get it down. I wasn't expecting to have like an attendance, you know? Hanada is asking, have you guys seen Brian Koberger's victims' families are suing the university?
Oh, that's great.
The extent of their knowledge of his behavior was shocking. Women were escorted by police because of him. Yes, I have seen this. We are not talking about any current events, but on Monday we will be.
We'll cover some of that.
There's a really
Well, we got to finish this deposition, don't we?
Yes, but we're going to talk about all of. I do want to talk about that.
Yeah, we got some stuff loaded up. Yeah.
On weekend editions like this, I don't want to talk about anything other than the whatever it is we're reading.
It's good to see Shannon's here.
So
what's up, Shannon?
Hanada, we're going to talk about that tomorrow.
Yeah, we are going to. Yes, so we'll touch on that. I have a wacka. I got all my sciencey stuff that I want to share with you guys. I got some really cool shits. You know, some. I don't know what I'm even saying. I don't even know what that. A word came out of my mouth that is not English.
Kiki is saying that what Justin did after this deposition is to file a motion for judgment on the pleadings, looking to get Lively's case thrown out, trying to avoid that day in court that he claimed he wanted.
Yeah. Yeah, his joke. The only person who's run their case worse is Andy Signor.
Oh, Shannon wants to know, was your toxic positive aunt the one that called you nosy?
No, no, she Nosy Jones. No, she was
memory.
No, that was my Auntie Betty, man. She was just a good donut maker, as far as I knew. No, not that one.
Okay, shall we go?
Yes, we shall. 2 hours,
nice
20
hanging with you guys.
Yeah, it was great hanging with you. We'll be back tomorrow at 6:00. Thank you for the likes and all the other things that you do, but mostly for the life you bring the live in your chat. I mean, It's really a great chat. You guys are amazing. You just make this thing a lot more fun for everyone, and we appreciate you so much. So I hope you've enjoyed Angela's reading. Thank you again.
Oh yeah, sure.
It's just so much work, and I really appreciate it.
It really isn't.
I feel like it is. I think I would be, yeah. especially with me on the other side interrupting you and losing your
Oh,
fucking
no,
place.
it's really funny. You make me laugh a lot.
We'll see you tomorrow, guys, at 6 o'clock. Yes?
Yep.
Fairly well.